in. Hello, you exquisite beings. It is I, Valen Vane, your educator extraordinaire this evening, here to teach you about the origins of that beast that we call the vampire. Or the vampire, or Charles, as we also know.
Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much for the follow, you beautiful being. Welcome on in. I don't like to call people out just in case they are lurking, but very welcome on in all the same, you cheeky devils. Just make myself look a little bit more presentable. How are you doing? How's it going, everyone? How you doing? Yes, today we are going to be deep diving the origins of the vampire. Or we're certainly going to be looking into it, seeing what we get up to and what have you. I've not done anything like this specific thing before, where I'm deep diving with the community. So we will see. We'll see what happens. We'll see how it goes and what have you. I've definitely got something in my eye, and that's going to really irritate me. But fuck it, I'll deal with it in a minute. I just keep one eye closed for the rest of. No. Keep one eye closed for the rest of the stream. How's it going, Kale? How you doing, MG? How's it going, Aries? Telling me you glory has been vamp time indeed. The screensaver is spooky. I thought we'd get a spooky screensaver. The song as well was the intro song was actually one of the official Vampire the Masquerade tracks from like the fucking 90s. Vampire the Masquerade, the company that owned Vampire. Oh, it used to be White Wolf, but I don't know who it is now. But anyway, Vampire the Masquerade released a music album in the 90s. I think it was the 90s or early 2000s, called Music from the Succubus Club, and that was one of the tracks. They had different tracks for different clans in the old version of Vampire the Masquerade, and I was like, do you know what, we're doing vampires, I want to listen to some of that music. The YouTube link I've put out there is actually to the specific track that we were listening to today. However, it actually links you through to the full playlist as well, or it should link you through to the full playlist as well. So yeah, all fun and games, yeah. Dude, Fish Pancakes, how you doing? How's it going? Shade Secrets, you glorious being. Holy shit, I popped out to put dinner on, come back and put my headphones on to realize that it's full volume on stream. Bass nearly blasted me off my chair. Oh god, I hope you're okay. Hope you're all right, Shade Secrets. You know, loving the song and the screensaver. It was pretty cool. It was getting there steadily but surely. I fucked about with my audio, so now I realize that I need to fuck about my audio some more, because the intro track is doubled up, which is not what I want. Not what I want by any stretch of imagination, but we'll get there. Ajetto, hello, how you doing? How's it going? And Squeaking Shadow, how you doing, you beautiful being? Been a while since we've seen you. How's it going? Samsicles, hello, you glorious being. D&D and Dice. I got your name right this time. It wasn't a tongue twister. I'm used to that shit now. I'm definitely not used to that shit now, but I can pretend, right? Colgnar, how you doing? Must be serious. You have your smoking jacket on. Yes, indeed. Well, I figured that if I was going to be talking about spooky stuff, I should probably dress like Vincent Price. That was just the entire impetus of it. If I'm going to be talking about spooky stuff, you dress like Vincent Price. You know? Yes. Where's my pipe? I need my pipe to look. Let us discuss vampires. You know, that kind of thing. I've just swallowed some flu begone pills as well, because the flu hasn't gone. The flu hasn't gone. My brain's been fucking out of it all day. I found myself today literally being like, okay, I'll do this thing, and then just sat here and just completely fucking zoning out. And then like 30 minutes goes by and I'm like, fuck was I even doing? The flu is the remnants of the flu. The flu's sort of come back for a second wave, actually, little dickhead. I thought I was done with it. I thought it was gone. Saturday morning felt fucking amazing. Saturday afternoon felt a little bit groggy. Sunday morning, full of shit. You know? Less than pleasant it was, you know? June Knackers, how's it going? How you doing? Vampires EX are exciting, I know, right? Well, I figured we'll start with vampires, because vampires are always a fan favorite, should we say? A fan favorite. Pull your eyelid away from your eyeball, then whatever it is should fall right out. I'm not sure that that's how it works, Ojo, because my eyeball is very moist, and things tend to stick to moist shit, you know? But, get there, you know what I mean? How are we all doing though? How's it going? Other than feeling a little bit out of it because of the lurgifications, I am feeling pretty good. I am feeling pretty good. And well, this is kind of an experiment. I'm giving you all a heads up, all right? This is kind of an experiment. I've not done a situation. Normally, if I'm going to do something like this, like a seminar, then I will prepare a whole load of shit beforehand and then come to you with all of that information. However, this isn't like that. This isn't like that. This isn't going to be like one of my sex ed seminars where I've got prepped shitloads of educational resources and then come to you with that information. This is a lot more along the lines of we are going to investigate together. We are going to discover things together. This is education as a collective, as opposed to as a like me teaching you type of thing. Do you know what I mean? Because I already know quite a lot already, just because I was a nerd and a goth in my teenage years. But we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes. Join. Hope everyone is well. So do I. Today has been a miserable day. It's been rainy and grey and horrible. But on the plus side, it's been relatively cool, like chill. You know what I mean? It's been a very chill day, which has been good for me because I'm not overheating the fuck out of things. You know. Whereas I know that it isn't the same for many other parts of the United Kingdom at the moment, you know. Been lurking, you delightful soul. Otherwise, mixed bag, but here for education. Yay! Love to see that you're here for education, but also, thank you very much for choosing to lurk. I really appreciate it. Can you talk like Vincent Price? Probably not. It's been a long time. It's been a really long time since I've watched a Vincent Price movie. So I'd have to re-watch a Vincent Price movie. In fact, you know what? We could do it with... let me try just YouTube Vincent Price speech. Oh my god, he did a Thriller rap in 1987. I'm good. Music, shut the fuck up. What's this? Vincent Price's laugh? He has the classic horror laugh. The classic horror laugh is Vincent Price's laugh. Ever so slightly nasal. Ever so slightly nasal. Very open-mouthed. Yeah. He has the classic horror laugh. Oh shit, that explains why he's the classic horror laugh. Vincent Price did the voiceover for Thriller.
Yeah, you subscribed.
Oh my lordy,
kind.
It's our first stream, baby. I shall name him Loomis.
Loomis. So it shall be, Zilboop. So it shall be. First of all, I will inscribe your name upon the mirror vein. Zilboop, your name is now inscribed on the mirror vein, which means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all those sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow. You know? It's the only way to do it. It is the only way to do it. I've just realized that this, because of the pickle cock, otherwise known as the peacock, because of the pickle cock, it makes the writing go weird. So I'm gonna have to fix the writing so that it actually spins around in a circle as opposed to doing this weird sort of thing that it's doing at the moment. Anyway. Currently have an infection somewhere in my urinary system. Oh no, Jetto. Remember to pee after sex. Oh yeah, Zilboop, we've got to do the thing. Where is my pen? Out. Where is first mein pen? Got a pen around here somewhere. Fuck it, we're gonna have to do it. Oh, oh, oh. Alright, okay, we'll do it with this. Oh, I know exactly where my pen is. It's upstairs. Boo. No, don't know. Zilboop! Young Loomis is now inscribed within the cutest in the galaxy. For that is where all of the Vane babies belong, for they are the cutest in the galaxy. You know? You know? Put that back. How's it going, Unicorn Mom? Hello, Calandra. How you doing, you beautiful beans? Thank you very much, everyone, for celebrating the Zilboop 9-month baby times. You've successfully escaped work early on a Monday. Oh, lordy. Well, that's very exciting. That's all very exciting, isn't it? Not dead just yet. Hello, you glorious bean. How's it going, Unicorn Mom? I ate your pen. Why? Why would you do this to me, Unicorn Mom? Why? Why would you do this to me? All of this time, I'm trying to save pen. Do you know what? It would explain a lot about where my pens keep disappearing. Because every single time, I'm like, where the fuck are my pens? Where do they all go? What's going on? Where are my pens? You know? You know, professional streamer. I normally have everything here. And evidently, I don't know. I must pick them up to write on something and then put them down in a place that isn't back here. And therefore, fuck everything up. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Because it was nice and I'm a unicorn. I mean, that does explain a lot of things. That does explain a lot of things, to be fair. But how are your weekends, friends? What did you get up to? I had a very, very chill weekend. I don't want to jump straight into education times. Do you know what I mean? I had a very chill weekend. It was very, very zen and calming and relaxing. Which is what I've been fucking needing because my life has been a bit chaotic. My life has been a bit chaotic for all of the wrong reasons. It's one of those, I've talked about it a little bit before, but it's one of those things where things have just been, you know, when things just come at you one at a time, one after another, and just like the illness has just fucking knocked me. And I'm just like, ugh. So I've been trying to like focus on loads of different things that don't have anything to do with the pressures in my life. And I'm getting there steadily but surely. Steadily but surely, you know. You successfully escaped work altogether on a Monday, unless you count Zoom meetings.
Subscribed. Most kind.
Take it.
Have a sprinkle more chaos. 2 years of it.
2 years of more chaos, Shade Secrets. 2 years. I'll now inscribe your name upon the mirror of Vane. Oh, well, with that pen I won't, because that pen's fucked. Shade Secrets, your name is now inscribed upon the mirror of Vane, which means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil, and of course you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you gotta roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy, oh yes, meow, you know? You know, you cheeky devil. Cup of tea for those that want them. Thank you very much, Clander. Do you know what? I was wanting a cup of tea, but now I've got a wee bit of a headache, and I'm like, I think a cup of tea would just make it worse. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think a cup of tea would actually make it worse in this rare of rare circumstances, you know? Rare of rare circumstances. Blame Monday, hashtag Blame Monday is very much one of those things that I genuinely feel. Even though, weirdly, I don't like have a standard work pattern. Like this weekend, for example, I'm like, I will be working all week and then I'm going straight away to the Alternative Model of the Year competition because it's the Amity Alternative Model of the Year, Amityville Horror. So the Alternative Model of the Year competition are doing a weekender, full weekender of like photo shoots and meet and greets and all kinds of bits and pieces, culminating in the competition on Sunday, which I will be hosting. So trying to get all that sorted. Whilst also attempting to buy a car within this week so that I can actually get there without spending more money on hire cars. Do you know what I mean? Of all the money that I've spent on hire cars so far, I probably could have bought myself an actual car. I just didn't have the money there and then to buy the car, and therefore it caused all kinds. Do you know what I mean? Frustrating, you know. I rearranged my entire apartment by myself, made it into a home I feel comfortable. I'm really glad to hear that. I have to say that I did do something nauseatingly romantic with McSteffels on the weekend, where McSteffels has also been having a particularly hard time of things recently. And the pair of us, both of us, actually just really like the sound of the rain. With it raining over the weekend, I angled the sofa towards, like, I've got a pair of French doors, towards the French doors, opened the French doors, lit some candles and put them on this, like, wooden bench thing that I've got. And then we sat under a duvet. So I'd made, like, put all the cushions on this sofa. So it made, like, a weird fucking nest. Covered ourselves with the duvet and then just stared out at the rain. And we sat and ate Chinese while we were listening to the rain. It was very romantic. Very nauseatingly romantic. What can I say? I fucking love that shit. Do you know what I mean? I fucking love that shit. Just a way to get away from shit for a while. It was a nice moment, you know? It was a little stressy, but on the whole, good. I spent lots of people enjoying the company. Oh, that's amazing news. That's what I love to see. Did you enjoy those people that came and joined us for the movie night last night? That was good fun. We watched the Mummy Returns. Great movie. Enjoy that movie. I forgot how much I love that movie until I watched it again and was like, oh, fucking hell, yeah. Forgot how much I love this shit. Do you know what I mean? You know? Can't believe it's been 24 months, Shade Secrets. That's outrageous. That is so outrageous. To the very last of my painkillers to do it, though. That is fair. That is fair. Well, is there any way you can get some more? Obviously, within the parameters of, like, making sure you don't take too many, because too many painkillers is very, very bad. Relatable, my housemate and I have taken an agreement to coordinate our crisis right now so that we can look out for each other. Wise decision. Like me and Chunk. Classic Chunk's here. Don't talk to me about cars. Oh, I know. Classic Chunk was meant to be getting a car today and had a less than desirable result, shall we say? Let's go with less than desirable result, right? But yeah, I think it's important that you live with people that look out for you as well as you look out for them. Classic Chunk looks out for me all the fucking time, and naturally I beat him in response. You know, the sort of things. Do you know what I mean? Got fucking ripped off, but at least I'm laughing about it. Yeah. I want to hear the full story about this, Chunk, but I'll do it after stream. More than happy to do it. Like, I want to know what the fuck went down and how that even came about. But I realized that I was like, yeah, I didn't. Like, I was walking back from the shop when you messaged, and I was like, okay, all right, I'll speak to you when you go back. And then you got back just as I pressed go live, and I was like, I'm gonna speak to you later because I want to know about this. You know. Had a good weekend. Spent Saturday afternoon playing Magic the Gathering, and Sunday we had a party at a local venue for my mum's 80th. Oh, that's amazing news. Lots of people she hadn't seen for a good few years went really well, which was lovely. Oh, I love that, Shade Secrets. That's really cool. That's really, really cool. Especially if it's like people you haven't seen in fucking ages. Do you know what I mean? How's it going, Captain Bambi's Revenge? Hello, you beautiful bean. Caffeine can sometimes make headaches worse. Although in some cases it can help. Depends on the person. Yep, exactly. Depends on the headache. It also depends on the headache. Gonna work out so you're gonna like entirely fair. It also depends on the headache. I definitely if I have a headache in the morning, like first thing in the morning, caffeine makes it better. 9 times out of 10, caffeine makes it better. Like a nice, delightful cup of tea will sort that shit out. Whereas I know that if I've got a headache because of like the bright lights and shit, because I've been recording a whole load of stuff. Not that any of you are ever gonna see it, but I've been recording a whole load of stuff for my secret projects. The like when I'm doing like stuff like that, and it all comes down to like lights and stuff like that, caffeine tends to make it worse. Which is a pain in the ass, because there's an awful lot of medicines as well. An awful lot of painkillers come with caffeine in them, which is infuriating. My sweetheart receptionist somehow manages to keep me on track and productive. She's the real reason my department runs so smoothly. I know far too many situations like that where there's one person who doesn't seem like they're the kind of person that would be the one that keeps everything together, but they definitely are. I know a couple of people like that for sure. For sure. How's it going, Max Wattage? How was your birth anniversary weekend? I know that you went away. How did it go? Was it great? Was it wonderful? And thank you very much for all those gift subs beforehand, you cheeky little shit. God damn it. Before I even started streaming on Friday, you threw them out at me. Like a fucking condom in an orgy. Had a good weekend. Spent Saturday afternoon. Oh, yeah. Literally just read that. Literally just read that, Val. Come on. Got a few department emails I have to answer today, and work is truly done. All right, well, take your time, Zilboop. Take your time. Maybe get a snaffly treat, you know. Get yourself sorted and then jump on it. Love the sound of that. It's super sweet. I am very much one of those people who enjoys intimate moments. And not just in the physical sense. Definitely in the physical sense, but not just in the physical sense. So to be able to share that with somebody who also enjoys an intimate moment is great. It's really, really great. I have to say, do you know what I mean? I have to say, it's just great. The thing, the reason, I'm assuming that they're not here, but one of the reasons that I fucking love McStuffles is because of the fact that she has a level of gratitude for small things that I have not seen very often. Is little things mean the fucking world to her, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that, you know? Brandon Fraser, man, yeah. Oh, that entire movie. The entire movie, both the first movie and the second movie is like a giant bisexual awakening. Just 100%. The Mummy franchise, by the franchise, I mean the first two movies, nothing to do with anything after The Mummy Returns, because fuck that noise, is very much a bisexual awakening, for sure. You know? No children on this weekend, so completely alone with my husband. We had a fantastic weekend, a long day. I love that. I love to see it. That's so cool. That's so amazing. Sent my doctor a message as I was taking the last one. Oh, lordy. Well, I hope they managed to get you sorted very soon, Ojetto, all right? Curious now? Curious now about what? What are you curious about? What? That's all right, Chunk. You lurk away. Asari Greenfire, how you doing? How's it going? Has day on Saturday, they extended into Sunday. Sounds great. Sounds wonderful. Sounds like you had a wonderful, wonderful time. You know, need to lurk. That's cleaning. That is entirely fair. We are going to do the first ad break momentarily. It's coming in 2 minutes time. We'll do the usual what is Val wearing today, and then we're going to look into the origins of vampires. The origins of vampires. We'll start with the Wikipedia documentation, and then we will open up into where, like, different myths of vampires and where it all came from and stuff like that. Okay, and I am going to highlight the stream. Well, obviously, the stream will go out on the VODs channel, but depending on how good the stream is, if it's a good stream, then, and it's easily... When I say good stream.
Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you so much for the follow, you beautiful bean. I don't like to call people out just in case they're lurking, but you're very, very welcome on in. When I say good stream, I don't mean as in I'm not having a good time. I mean I'm having a great time. I don't stream unless I'm having a good time, you know? But what I am saying is, like, if it's easy to cut up, if it's easy to edit, then I might make it into its own little thing and just load it up onto Twitch as like Mythical Mondays, doing vampires. Yay, you know? You know, and some of us would love to be doing vampires. Birthversary is lovely, thanks. Reading books in a large hot tub in the middle of a forest of beech trees. That sounds fucking phenomenal, Max Wattage, I have to say. Just the stress remover I needed. That sounds fucking amazing. What book were you reading? Out of interest. What book are you reading? I've been doodling, and we've treated the cats to a nice new dishes and Shia's long sofa. Shays long. Just loved it. The fluffy one. Ah, bless them. Bless their little cottons. Let's pop over around 2 for... That's all right. You do your thing. Your life must always come first, Agetto. Your life must always come first. You know this, you cheeky devil. Friends and adverts about to be starting. Naturally, we are going to be doing What is Valen Wearing today? But we'll wait for that ad to kick in first, you know what I mean? Love the idea of vampire sex. I used to when I was in my teenage years. These days, I don't know. Something about sleeping with a corpse that just... I don't know whether it works for me. Although they're saying that it depends on how you view vampires. Depends on what origin myth you believe in vampires in order to really consider those things, you know? Okay. There we go. That's where it's at. That's where those cheeky little devils are. Friends! The adverts have begun. The adverts have begun. Which means it's time for What is Valen Wearing Today? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, it's time for What is Valen Wearing Today? In order to try and look educated, Valen Vane dressed like Vincent Price would. In a nice smoking gown, a delightful shirt, and cravat of some variety. But let's see what else is going on, shall we? Yeah, we are, friends. I got too much shit in this room. Off. That was What is Valen Wearing Today. Naturally, I'm wearing some black trousers to go with the smoking gown in order to make myself look nice and presentable and glorious and what have you. Need to make myself look nice and presentable, nice and glorious, nice and wonderful. Because how else is somebody meant to take me seriously in this scenario, eh? You know? You know? Debonair velvet number, and that satin trim on the lapel. It certainly is. Certainly is. It's very pretentious. In fact, to be honest with you, it was bought for me by my oldest and closest friend, specifically because it was just so pretentious. Just so unreasonably pretentious. You know? So yeah, friends, that was What is Valen Wearing Today. I am obviously dressed to impress, because I need you to all believe me when I start talking about these whimsical facts that we will be delving into in regards to the origins of the vampire. Do you know what I mean? The book was a collected series of Arthur C. Clarke, the classic sci-fi. Ooh. That sounds like one of those, because I remember, like, ye olde books, especially around sci-fi, tended to be really difficult to read. So I hope it was good. I hope you enjoyed yourself. Also, how's it going, Jojo Mojo? How you doing? How you doing, you glorious bean? Ads are finally over. I can hear you again. That's all right. That's okay. That's all right. These ads be ads. You know, these ads be the way that they be. Unfortunately, they are necessary for myself in order to crack on. You know, I mean, they do actually make a difference. As I was delving through the like my previous months and stuff like that, it makes quite the difference when it comes to how much we as content creators earn. Especially now that I'm doing 3 minutes of adverts instead of 2 minutes of adverts. You know, I can't give you exact numbers, but I am earning significantly more. Because when you do 3 minutes of adverts, it gives you the 55% ad revenue. Whereas when you do 2 minutes, you don't get that. You know? How's it going, Rowan Rose? How are you doing? How's it going? I know that you had a really difficult time recently. I won't go into details. I read your post in the Discord, but I hope you're doing all right, you glorious bean. I hope you're doing okay. Gnarly Quinn, long time no see. How you doing? How's it going? Yes, the music by the dance. Worth it. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear it. Good, thank you. I'm really glad to hear that, Jojo. Really glad to hear that. The book was great. The golden age of sci-fi is my favorite genre of storybook. Oh, right, okay. Like ye olde science fiction, like Isaac Asimov and shit like that. The origin science fiction where it was like everyone was dreaming big without scientific backing. Where they were just like, this is obviously a thing that you can do. And everyone was like, yeah, no, that's definitely not. Then, oh, wait, no, that actually could possibly be possible. We could fold space. That's something that could happen. You get a big enough gravity well. That is definitely, you know. Today's not been a good day. So I'm like, you're going to stay lurking. That is entirely fair. That is not a problem. Not a problem by any stretch of the imagination, Gnarly Quinn. All right. 2023 has not been very kind to the vast majority of us, myself included. I know that I come across as the perpetual optimist, nauseating levels of it's gonna be grand, and that is true. But 2023 has been particularly brutal to a lot of us. So fear not, you are not alone. But it's not about what has happened so far. It's about how we deal with it and push forward. All right, I'm with you. Nauseous and still in pain, but getting better. I'm glad that you're getting better, Rowan Rose. And I'm good that you're still nauseous and still in pain, but I understand why. But I'm glad that you are getting better. Exactly right. So dramatic. Nice waters, you know it. You know it. Okay, friends, we are going to look into vampires. We're going to have a look at some vampirical evidence. Cheeky. We're going to look at some vampirical evidence, and we're going to have a look at what it is that makes a vampire, you know? Because as we know, like, I don't know about your interpretation of vampires and what you've learned and what have you, but like the classic ones that people always seem to remember is cheeky. Before we do that, before we jump into the origins of vampires and look into this stuff together, all right, we're gonna do this wonderful thing because the glorious Max Wattage has gifted Rowan Rose a sub. Gifted Rowan Rose a subscription. Rowan Rose, I shall now inscribe your name upon the mirror of vein. By having your name upon the mirror of vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat, not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror, go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Where are you? There you are. Sexy. Oh, yes. Meow. I got completely thrown because I couldn't see your delightful faces. All right, look. Oh, there you are. Cheeky devils. You know? Thank you very much, Max, for gifting that to the glorious Rowan Rose. Rowan Rose is wonderful people. How's it going, Armix Blackfire? How you doing? How's it going? We are just about to deep dive into the joys of vampires, and very specifically the origins of vampires. Where did vampires come from? Because most people understand vampires like Dracula. Dracula kind of brought the myth of vampires into popular culture. The idea of an elegant, noble person who is hypnotizing in all kinds of ways, but actually a horrid creature beneath the surface. Now, I haven't read Bram Stoker's Dracula. I would like to at some stage, but that requires me to actually, process some kind of time in order to sit down and read it, which is not something that I have a lot of, However, I have heard that Dracula is very different in the books. They have like a big long mustache. Far more.
Most kind.
Far more like a Turkish noble person as opposed to Bela Lugosi, Voyage Base, you glorious beings. Also hi, gifting us up to Original Vampire 1. I shall now inscribe their name upon the mirror vein. I do this. Original Vampire 1, your name is now inscribed upon the mirror vein. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you got to roll over every morning, look in the mirror, go, God, I look rough. But God damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow, There's an audio. Yeah, there's definitely going to be an audio book of Dracula, I would imagine. And to be fair, Dracula is now in the public domain. So realistically speaking, I'd be surprised if there aren't a variety of like voice actors and stuff out there that haven't done their own versions of Dracula. Would not surprise me at all if it's in fact, you know what? It would surprise me if there isn't anything out there. It genuinely would surprise me if there isn't anything out there. Let me put this up here. Okay. Put that over there. Put that here. Cool. So we're going to talk about vampires. So Dracula kind of brought the vampire into popular culture of the classic. Here is a noble person who has vampiric powers, and they have used their nobility and ill-gotten gains in order to corrupt and manipulate and what have yous. How you doing, Voyage Base? Thank you so much for giving that sub there. I really appreciate it. Speaking of Dracula, I quite enjoyed watching Renfield, although Nick Cage was Dracula was quite good. I have not seen Renfield. I don't know anything about it. I know that it is about Dracula's servant creature, through the ages. I do know one Celtic story about vampires, and they dealt with him. It involves a standing stone making a grave. That doesn't surprise me by any stretch of the imagination. They were pretty brutal back in there. And to be fair, like talking about like vampires, we'll talk about them all. We'll get through like the origin myths and stuff. Well, at least the European origin myths, which is what the current understanding of vampire is. That's the plan. Because if we go down everything, then it's gonna take me about fucking 20 hours just to uncover the basis of everything, and then we'll have to go into it, because I'm sure that from what I understand, nearly every culture has their own myth about blood-sucking humanoid creatures, shall we say. Omega Wibble, you beautiful being. Welcome on in. If you have Apple Books, it's free on there. I mean, it should be free everywhere, Omega Wibble, nowadays. It should be free everywhere, like I say, because it's in the public domain. So for those people that are not aware, when 100 years after it's originally published, or after the author dies, whichever one is later, if I remember correctly, learning fucking copyright shit, 100 years after the original publish, doesn't matter. Yeah, that's when a book goes into the public domain. So it's been 100 years since the publication of Dracula, so now it's in the public domain. So it should, theoretically, I should be, in fact, you know what, I can literally just Dracula online book. Yeah, I've literally found it. There you go. Bram Stoker's Dracula, page by page. It's right there. Jonathan Harker's journal. Now, some things that are definitely prevalent in Dracula that a lot of people are surprised by is the fact that it's written in the standing of letters, which was very popular in the time, where it would be about reading other people's correspondence, and that's what made built up the story and stuff like that. And yeah, Dracula isn't the noble person that we see in Bela Lugosi's Dracula, for example. Far more actually like the Nosferatu or the Bram Stoker's Dracula as made popular by Gary Oldman. That's a little bit closer to the mark, you know. Cheeky Snapchat friend request sent. Oh, Tamaz, you cheeky devil. I like it. I like it a lot. I tend to accept everybody on Snapchat, which means that I get a hell of a lot of bots thrown at me. Although saying that, TikTok's been absolutely rife with bots recently, you know. More funny film, but Nick Cage was quite creepy as Dracula. Nick Cage is growing on me. I never used to like Nick Cage as an actor. I think he was a very nice person, but I never used to like him. But these days, he's growing on me. He's far more, I don't know, flexible than I thought he would be. I think the book is available on HD. Yeah, it's available. Like, you can just literally Google it, and it's available on Google. Or one of the links will be able to show you, because it is free, you know. However, the original vampire myth is from much earlier than that. Much earlier than that, and talks more about like plague bearers and stuff like that. Like the word Nosferatu, for example. Like the film Nosferatu, bit of backstory there. The film Nosferatu came before the movie Dracula because they wanted to make a movie of Dracula, but they couldn't get the rights to do so. Bram Stoker and the publishing company wouldn't allow that to happen. So what happened was, because copyright in the time was a lot looser than it is now, a lot less stringent than it is now, the movie companies decided to make a movie that was exactly the same as Dracula, using a different monster that they called Nosferatu. The word Nosferatu actually means plague bearer, and it is from a much older dynamic, a much older creature. And it was a similar sort of thing, that a creature would, a human being would be transformed into a Nosferatu, raised from the dead, and spread its plague around, turning other creatures into Nosferatu, which is where you get that whole idea of like siring the dead and stuff like that. That's cool. Tangent can join. You can join any local authority library in the UK. Yes, you can. Do a lot of driving, so I join all the libraries for their audiobooks. Fair. Makes sense. Nope, he was Vlad the Impaler, a happy chap. Well, there's no guarantees of that, to my knowledge. The old version of Dracula has a full cast stars. Okay, cool. Another one about witch creating the verse vampire in a blood pact. As a person on TikTok claiming they're a vampire. Yeah, do you know what, Fish Pancakes? I'm not even gonna lie to you. Since the fucking 80s, since the 1980s, there have been entire swathes of people who have claimed that they are actual vampires. They have claimed that they are actual vampires. In fact, I know of a couple who, they took to YouTube, if I remember correctly, because it was before Twitch, it was before TikTok and stuff like that. It was like a YouTube thing where they were a couple and they used to drink each other's blood every single day. That was the thing. They would like pour out a small glass of each other's blood and they would drink it every single day because they fully believed that they were vampires. Despite the fact that they walked around in the sunshine, despite the fact that they were perfectly fine in churches and that crucifixes didn't cause them to burn. You know, like it was just two people that decided to drink each other's blood. I don't know about any kind of health benefits or disadvantages that come with that, but I would think there would be some. There's also Jiangxi. This type of Chinese monster called the hopping vampire, kind of like a zombie vampire. Yugi Dog Zombie, how you doing? How's it going? Yes, there is the Jiangxi, but I don't want to go too much into the Eastern mythology around vampires because, like I said, the problem that we would have is, like I said, I think nearly every culture, has its own vampiric style creature, as in a creature that drinks the blood of the living in order to sustain itself. Usually is some description of corpse that requires the blood of the living to sustain itself. But yeah, we'll get into all that, but we're gonna focus. I'll talk about stuff as it comes up, but we're gonna focus more on the European vampires, because that's the one that most people are most familiar with. Obviously, there's like a further dynamic there when you get into stuff like Vampire the Masquerade. A lot of the Vampire the Masquerade stuff is based on various different regions' view of vampiric creatures, and also a fair amount of theological text and stuff. Do you know what I mean? How's it going, Hanshira? Hello, Anna. How you doing? How's it going? So, according to the Wikipedia, a vampire is a mythical creature that subsists by feeding on the vital essence, generally in the form of blood, but not always in the form of blood, of the living. In European folklore, vampires are undead creatures that often visit loved ones and cause mischief or deaths in the neighborhoods which they inhabited while they were alive. They wore shrouds and were often described as bloated and of ruddy or dark countenance, marked different from today's gaunt pale vampires, which dates the early 19th century. So the original view of a vampire was a bloated corpse, because especially when the original myths came around, they didn't have all of the mortuary treatment that they now have. So in this day and age, again, this gets a little bit grim for people, but if you're not aware, in this day and age, when you die, your body is drained of its of all of its liquids, whether it be blood and urine and feces and like all of the bits that what have you. However, there are still flarings in the brain which mean you twitch after you die. All kinds of shit like that. There's a whole load of stuff going on there. But your body, if you don't have that stuff done, your body creates gas inside you, and your body swells. Your body swells up. Natural, like it's a very natural thing for the body to swell after you die if you don't have the usual mortuary treatment that they do in this day and age, you know? So what they used to do is they would, if they ever suspected that somebody was a vampire, they would dig up the grave, and if they saw the corpse was massively bloated, and usually like all of the blood which no longer flows through their veins would settle in the body, which would make these horribly dark patches of like what looked like bruising across the entire body. So when they like dug up these corpses, they were like, oh my god, it's a vampire. You can see how it's bloated because it's gorged on blood. And that was the thought process. They were just like, they have gorged themselves on blood. You can see because they are bloated like a tick would, because they would be familiar with ticks and other blood-sucking creatures and how they swelled up when they gorged on blood, you know? Is vampire an Eastern European concept? According to one source that I had a quick look at here, medieval Europe, disparaged as the Dark Ages, did not know the concept of the blood-drinking creatures of the night. Legendary vampires emerged more recently. The vampire postdates witch hunts, werewolf trials, and even the demon-haunted Puritans. The concept of the vampire as an undead creature inflicting harm originates from Eastern Europeans, specifically Bulgaria, 1,000 years ago. This is according to the Ashland Community and Technical College. It was a legend isolated among the Slavic people and not widespread or well known. As a word, vampire translates roughly. The actual translation of the word vampire translate roughly as ghost monster. That's the label and that label gives insights about the early beliefs. Slavic vampires were non-corporeal, lacking in physical body, having more in common with a poltergeist. The vampire wrought havoc, often as a spreader of disease in a village, but the vampire did not create other vampires with its bite. It didn't consume blood. The early vampire was no suave creature in an evening dress. It was a ghost-like being that operated in the same arenas as destructive rats. I can fucking speak, I swear to God. So that's interesting. That I didn't realize that the origins of what we understand to be the modern day vampire actually started as more of a wraith than anything else. More of a wraith, a vengeful spirit who went around spreading misfortune and what have you. It says here, the vampire entered Western history, leaving its seclusion fairly late. The war is to blame for spreading the belief. In 1686, 6 years prior to the Salem witch trials, the German-speaking peoples of the Holy Roman Empire gained control of Hungary and thereby took control of Slavic population. Imperial troops learned the vampire legend from the Slavic peasants during the occupation. Soldiers carried the idea to cosmopolitan centers like Vienna and Berlin. From there, the vampire moved to Paris, and from Paris to London. From London to the Americas, the word vampire first appeared in English in 1732, which is actually the same year that George Washington was born. There you go. Let me catch up with chat a wee bit. There used to be a story among some old RP friends of mine who were RPing a sacrifice when a Jehovah's Witness knocked at the door and they invited them in, and what was going on? Oh my God. I think there might have been a vampire game. That's hilarious. Like Vampire the Masquerade. I fucking love Vampire Masquerade back in the day. It was fucking great. Thank you for being so kind about my terrible spelling. That's no problem. No problem at all. Don't have to worry about that. My brain's not fully in it today, as you can obviously see from me reading these things out. I'm getting a lot of things wrong, but it's all right. We all work it out together, you know? It almost sounds like rats carrying disease were thought to be vampires, maybe. I think it was more the other way round, Millen. So if you remember stuff like the Black Death, for example, that spread across Europe so unbelievably viciously, people didn't know what the Black Death was. They thought it was, people blamed it on witches' curses. They blamed it on demons visiting areas. They blamed it on foreigners. They blamed it on fucking anything because they didn't understand where the Black Death came from. They didn't understand that it was carried with rats, and they didn't understand that it was very specifically the fleas that were on the rats that carried it itself. So when you are so used to the idea of like rodents, specifically rats especially, being everywhere you fucking go, because especially in like medieval England and stuff like that, medieval Europe, rats were fucking everywhere. You see them all the time. They weren't really they were a problem, but they weren't feared like they are in this day and age. Nobody would think to associate a plague with rats. They would just be like, oh my God, there's all of this shit going down. Humans are dying. What could possibly be the cause? And because a lot of that, especially in those day and age, the concept of scientific research and study was completely outrageous, it would all come down to rumor and myth. And that is where you get stuff like the vampires and ghosts carrying disease and stuff like that. It's just like, oh no, the ghosts carrying disease, like these vampires, they go around, they carry disease, they spread a plague around people, and it's just like, chances are it was some description of rodent or tick or something like that that was spreading it around, because that's the easiest way to do it, you know? If you're interested in death in general, the YouTube channel Ask a Mortician is a good channel to check out. Bear in mind, she is based in the US. Her book, Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, Will Get My Cat, and Will My Cat Eat My Eyeballs, are good books. All right, okay. I mean, it's not something that I've particularly looked into myself, but I know enough about it for the purpose of this, for sure. Roggen Fry, how you doing? How's it going? Caitlin Doe is a licensed mortician. Ah, okay. Washington Vampire Lord. Fabulous Krusty, hello. It's me, George Washington. Hello, George Washington. How are you doing? How's it going? How's it going, Krusty? How you doing, you beautiful bean? Hello. Let me give you a cheeky little shout out there. People, go check out Fabulous Krusty. Fabulous Krusty is a wonderful individual who I love very, very dearly. Are you back up and running? Oh, no, you are back up and running because I saw that you posted about your new YouTube video that I have not managed to check out yet, but I will check out because I fucking love your work. You know? Technically, Cake, how's it going? From their perspective, it was invisible presence that thought they were looking, though they were looking right at the plague carriers. Oh, yeah, exactly. An invisible presence that carried a plague. A plague, a pox upon you people, you know? Don't they actually think it was hamsters that carried the plague? I would imagine it was any kind of rodent. Because realistically speaking, fleas are not picky about what they bite. Fleas aren't picky about what they bite. They'll be like, there's a big source of blood. I'ma bite that. And like cleanliness, especially in like the Middle Ages and stuff like that, cleanliness was not seen. In fact, fucking hell, it was seen across the reason why the Dark Ages are the Dark Ages was because a lot of like history and shit like that was completely scrubbed. Like they didn't believe in writing shit down. They didn't believe in scientific methods. They didn't believe in documentation and stuff like that. And a lot of the old documents were burnt as heresy because the church wanted power, you know? So a lot of the Dark Ages is hard to know about because there's not much to go on. However, one of the things that we are aware of is the fact that especially in those times of Europe and the pre-Dark Ages Europe especially, the most Europeans believed that the reason why people got sick was because they were too clean. That was their perception. Is like if you have a bath more than once a month, then you are going to be too clean and you will get ill. Which I can understand from that perspective because it was very much a scenario of if you get clean, you're no longer introducing your entire body to shitloads of fucking bacteria that you can build an immunity against. However, of course, you can build an immunity only to so much and then shit fucks up, you know? Not totally healed, but much better. I'm really glad to hear that, buddy. I'm really, really glad to hear that. I know it was me. I can speak, I swear. I know it must have been pretty fucking shitty to go through it, but as long as you're taking your time to heal, that's what really matters. That's what really matters. Scientists discovered that the outbreaks coincide with the breeding cycles of hamsters. That's hilarious. I love that. I love that. Fleas are just tiny, very tiny vampires. They are 100%. And then that was the thing though. It was stuff like you would see the plagues come around, and then you'd have things like the vampire bat. The vampire bat would feed off cattle, and you would have loads of cattle dying, and you'd be like, "Oh my god, this must be something to do with it," because people didn't think, "Oh, these could be two completely different things." They just think there's a bat that is feeding off a thing. We know that there's a vampire wandering around. The vampire must have turned into the bat. Must have done. That's the only way that it makes sense, you know? Frontline spot treatment, unfortunately, was not a thing about that. Exactly, right? That's nonsense, and you know it. The church would never do anything evil. Never do anything evil. In their eyes, they always did good. But good is in the eyes of the beholder. And that's the problem we have. That's the problem that I have with organized religion. I have nothing but respect for people and their faiths. If you want to be a faithful individual, I respect you and your right to do that. When it comes to organized religion, you can chew a foreskin. Because organized religion is a structure of control. It is nothing to do with faith. You know? Never take off the grime armor. Exactly. Which is like wild because in this day and age, obviously, we know that a lot of bacteria comes from grime and shit like that, you know? That's what fucks people up. That's what fucks people up, you know what I mean? Killed so many cats because of superstition and the Pope's order that it contributes to it. Yeah. Kill cats because cats were especially during like the witch trials and stuff like that, the cats were seen as the familiars of the devil. Because a cat is aloof and a cat is unusual, and you can't trust a cat like you can a dog, because a cat won't do what you fucking tell it to. So you find a lady that has a poor cat, well, she's obviously shagging Satan himself. Kill the cat, burn her at the stake. You know? Doing good, yeah. As soon as they found out we can shapeshift, they're gonna tell the church. It's true. It's true. So anyway, back to the little article that I'm reading here. The vampire entered Western history, leaving its seclusion fairly late. Yeah, we talked about the war being to blame and the Holy Roman Empire taking over London, going from the Slavic people all the way through to London. Traveling east to west, the vampire legend took on a new feature. Rather than a ghost, for example, the vampire became a risen corpse, full-bodied. Most notably, the vampire assumed the need to consume blood. This addition to the legend was an 18th century Western idea. Believe it or not, blood drinking added a scientific element to the vampire belief. To the people of the time, blood consumption made the vampire more believable, more corporeal than incorporeal. And more scientific than supernatural. Westerners were moving past the age of superstition. Witchcraft was decriminalized in Britain and its colonies in 1735. So intellectuals of the time, when confronted with vampiric testimonies, conceived vampirism as a disease rather than a supernatural occurrence. It's fascinating that intellectuals didn't dismiss the legend entirely. Rather, intellectuals sought to explain the phenomenon in terms of science. And this was in like the late 1600s. Early 1700s. Satan was a horny bugger. Satan is a horny bugger. Has a wonderful time. Taking me roughly from behind, the cheeky little devil he is.
Yeah, you subscribed. Most kind.
Fun fact: it is heavily rumored that The Vampire by John William Polidori, 1819, was effectively an XBF diss towards his former lover Lord Byron, on whom he based the main antagonist. Vampires have always been super gay.
Vampires have always been super gay. It is very, very true. But that is a thing. That is a thing that's well, it's a thing that is well theorized about. I don't want to say documented, but theorized about, because all of the popular stories of vampires had them with homosexual tendencies. Now, the vast majority of the popular stories, like Vampire by John William Polidori, and obviously Bram Stoker and Dracula and stuff like that, all of these the actual books and horror stories about vampires were in a heavy Christian environment, where the concept of homosexuality, although it wasn't given the term homosexuality at the time, the concept of homosexuality was a sin, and a good way to show how sinful and evil these creatures were was by making them inclined to be homosexual. Or not homosexual, but bisexual. They didn't have the term bisexual back then, but the equivalent of, I'm going to indulge in a sinful act with everyone around me. Why? Because I'm evil. Because I am a monster, you know? Abby stabby, you cheeky devil. I shall now inscribe your name upon the mirror vein. Abby Stabby Arch, your name is now inscribed on the mirror vein, which means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you gotta roll over every morning, look in the mirror, and go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good? Ooh, harra, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow. You know? You know? Bacchanalia and debauchery, you know it. You know it. Last witch was charged in the First World War. Yes, the last witch was charged in the First World War. Joe, we'll talk about that when we do our deep dive on witches of Sorrow Greenfire, because this is the first one. Every Monday, there's 5 Mondays in October. We're starting with vampires, and then we have got witches, werewolves, zombies, and mummies to cover. Okay, those are the ones we're doing at least this October. I don't know whether we'll do it ever again in the future, but we'll talk about that because that story is really, really interesting, and it was horrible the way it went down. It was massively a story of exploitation and finding loopholes within a law that hadn't been overwritten yet in order to get what they wanted. It was a very wild scenario. Do you know what I mean? Camilla, excellent sapphic vampire story. Yes, yeah. I mean, the what's it called? Camilla and Elizabeth Bathory, wasn't it? Elizabeth Bathory was a classic one because it got to this point where you've got like the 1700s where they're like, yes, the scientific method, it makes sense that vampires are actually feeding on the life force. Well, what is the life force? Well, the life force is obviously blood. Blood is what flows through our veins and keeps us going. So the vampires feeding on the life force from a scientific point of view means that they must surely feed off blood itself, which is the thing that makes sense. And from that point onwards, it kind of basically became a scenario of anything that was a bloodbath was kind of loosely associated with vampires. Elizabeth Bathory killed shitloads of fucking people, specifically virgin women, in order to stay young, bathe in their blood, stay young. And therefore, she must have been a vampire. She must have had vampiric tendencies in order to do that. Not that she was just a psychotic, vain killer of an individual, you know? In fact, it says here, in the 1700s, human blood was believed to possess medicinal qualities, and it was widely consumed as a medicine throughout Europe and the Americas by people at all levels of society. Today, historians call this medicinal cannibalism. Blood was cheap in cost due to the common use of bloodletting as a physician's tool, and it was believed to be the vessel of the human soul. So by imbibing the blood, one imbibed life. What better medicine than a liquid with the residue of human soul inside? Human blood was prescribed for everything from epilepsy to failing eyesight in the 1700s. So you went from the old medieval practices where it was a case of you can have too much blood in your system, and the more that you drain your blood, the closer you are to God. There was a whole practice of monks, very specifically, who would go through ritual bleedings in order to basically they drained their blood to a point where they started hallucinating, and then they were getting closer to God. That entire scenario. And then you've got like the 1700s where science is making a bit more of a breakthrough, and people aren't fully understanding everything but are trying to understand everything, and they're just like, oh well, this makes sense. If blood is the vessel of the human soul, then vampires would drink the life essence of that. You know? It makes complete sense for that to be the scenario. Medicinal cannibalism. It does make me wonder, though. It does make me wonder if it was a scenario of the church's influence on medicine in the 1700s that caused this to be a scenario. A church turning around and fighting against the idea of science, because the church has always fought against science. And in fact, any religious structure that has a prominent presence has always fought against the idea of learning and education. And the reason why is because if you are asking questions, then you aren't believing. There's a lot of, and I'm again not criticizing anyone's faith, just talking about religion as like organized, structured religion as a whole. There is a massive history of the more that you ask questions, the more of a heretic you are, because they don't want you to ask questions. They want you to believe blindly, because to get answers for something is not faithful. Belief in something requires faith regardless of proof. When you are searching for proof, you are denying that faith. So I can understand that. I mean, this is me just theorizing here, but I can understand in the 1700s, the church being like, shit, this science stuff is getting out of hand, and people are using medicine and to cure each other. No one's coming to the church anymore to ask for the blessing of God. They are going to these doctors, whatever they are. We need to stop this from happening. Well, the doctors are prescribing blood to cure all these bits and pieces, whether it worked or not, regardless of that scenario. They prescribed it. Have this human blood. It will help your epilepsy and failing eyesight or whatever, you know? So they turn around and go, oh, well, blood's actually the vessel of the soul. So you shouldn't be imbibing on medicine. You shouldn't be doing that. It was the medieval, the 1700s equivalent of, and again, this is me speculating, but it sounds like it was the 1700s equivalent of the people you get over in these, especially very fundamentalist evangelical areas of the world, where they're like, no, we want our child to suffer and die because God will save them. Keep your medicine. Keep your procedures that will save their life. It doesn't matter. We don't need medical science because God will save them. It doesn't matter. God will save them. We don't. What's that? Appendicitis. Never even heard of it. No, you don't need to rip their appendix out. God will save them, or they won't. And that's God's choice. You know, we're not going to get in the way. And it's just like, what? But it seems like this was the 1700s equivalent. No, you shouldn't have medicine. You shouldn't try and heal yourself because God should be healing you. God should look after you. And if God doesn't look after you, then that's God's choice. Do you know what I mean? That's God's choice. Not a huge fan of those bloodsuckers, but always interesting to learn. Lola Frosty, that is entirely fair. And if anyone ever needs to step out, like obviously we're going to be talking about some pretty weird and interesting things. But if you need to step out, I fully understand. Thank you very much for sticking around as you are doing, you know. Yeah, the end of this article just says the vampire of the West, therefore, was medically savvy, and the dead creature, it came to be believed, consumed blood to restore life. That detail alone moves us away from the ghost monsters and closer to Dracula, which was first published in 1897. Is that the end of that thing? Is that? Or can we get more? Do you know more about this? It looked like you had lots of things to tell us about the origins of vampires, but no, that's it. So that's one article on it. The wiki says subsist on vital essence. Folk beliefs. That's what we want to look at. The notion of vampirism has existed for millennia. Cultures such as the Mesopotamians, Hebrews, ancient Greeks, Manipuri, and Romans had tales of demons and spirits, which are considered precursors to modern vampires. Despite the occurrence of vampiric creatures in these ancient civilizations, the folklore for the entity known today as the vampire originates more exclusively from 18th century southeastern Europe, when the verbal tradition of many ethnic groups of the region were recorded and published. In most cases, vampires are revenants of evil beings, suicide victims or witches, but they can also be created by malevolent spirits possessing a corpse or by being bitten by a vampire. Belief in such lessons became so pervasive that in some areas it caused mass hysteria and even public executions. People believed to be vampires. It was really interesting actually, because one of the documentaries I was watching actually had, it was the last vampire hunt they had in this village in I think it might actually have been Bulgaria. It was like in 1996. It was like quite close to the turn of the century, and it literally came down to the fact that loads of people in the village were getting ill, and the only explanation they had for it was vampires. You know, people got executed as vampires. Yeah, apparently so. I remember, I've not come across that myself. I know that suicide victims were a particular one of them, which is wild to me, but that one I've always had a struggle with, because the idea was that obviously if you are somebody who does unalive themselves, and I'm not going to speculate any further than that. The idea was it was the ultimate sin because you are taking life that you cannot repent for. However, that was actually made up by the church. That was actually completely fucking made up by the church. Because 1533 was when the church decided that suicide was a mortal sin. When the Christian church decided that suicide was a mortal sin. And in 1562, all suicides were denied a Christian burial. And the reason why that was because in the 1500s, the Christianity was so rife across so many parts of the world that people were killing themselves in order to be closer to God. They were so enthusiastic about their religion and faith that they were actively killing themselves in order to be closer to their deity.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much for the follow, you beautiful being. I don't like to call people out just in case they're lurking. But, so that's when it became a mortal sin. It had nothing to do. It had nothing to do with God. It had nothing to do with like an actual sins or anything like that. It literally got down to the fact that Christians were killing themselves in order to be closer to their God, and more specifically, the Catholic Church was running out of followers, or was aware of a rapid decline of followers. No followers means no tithe. No tithe means no money. No money means that the church collapses. Without followers, the church is a faith. Not a faith. A religion is nothing. And so they would do anything to condemn those who struggled with suicidal thoughts and what have you. I thought the bloodbathing was just a rumor about Bathory, as she was a woman who refused to marry and wanted to take care of her estate. The not done thing at the time. I don't know. I thought there was documented evidence of the fact that she killed 24. Bathory and 4 other servants were accused of torturing and killing hundreds of girls and women between the 1590s and 1610s. The servants were put on trial and convicted, whereas Bathory was imprisoned within the castle of Sietchia. I think that's how you pronounce it. Charges leveled against Bathory are described by several historians as a witch hunt. Other writers have said that the accusations against Bathory were supported by testimonies of more than 300 individuals, some of whom were described physical evidence and the presence of mutilated, dead, dying, and imprisoned girls found at the time of her arrest. In 2018, an article for the Historical Science Review stated that when Bathory was persecuted, the accusations were a spectacle to destroy her family's influence in the region, which was considered a threat to the political interests of her neighbors, including Habsburg Empire. Didn't she... No, it was somebody else. There was a very, very particular leader that I'm thinking of, and I cannot remember the name of the life of me, who was particularly savage to some neighboring folk. Didn't know people...
You subscribed. Most kind.
Well, here we are again, 44 months. Not long till 4 years.
Here we are again, Biohazard. Tier 3 for 44 months. Good lord, you cheeky devil. I'll now inscribe your name on the Tier 3 Mirror Vein. By having your name on the Tier 3 Mirror Vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat. That's Tier 4 as well, you know, after all of this time. After all of this time. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing, go roll over. Oh, yeah, you also get access to the Tier 2 Pokemon emotes and the Tier 3 Cursed emotes. But the most important thing is you'll roll over every morning. Look in your tiny little Tier 3 mirror. Where are you? There you are. And go, God, I wish they'd bring around cloning. So once someone said, go fuck yourself, I literally could. Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow, you know? Yeah, now you cheeky devil. We love the that Tier 3 mirror. Didn't know people got it. Yeah. I thought they always accused people that were already dead of being vampires. I didn't realize they accused people living, but it wouldn't surprise me, to be honest with you. The lady who would bathe in blood, tortured her slaves, etc. Supposedly, but it does make sense if, like, that they would make up that information when there's no proof. Because she was a woman and therefore she had no rights, especially in that day and age, you know? Celtic vampire might be on Wikipedia. Abartach, the Irish vampire. Need to step out for a while. No worries. See you later, Samsacles. You take it easy, you beautiful bean. Still interesting? Yeah, right? I should get a discount as I'm not on the Snapchat. I don't need to see you perform across all your social media platforms. How dare you? All right? You desperately want to. You want to see it all. You want to see it all, baby. I'm thinking of the lady who was in Louisiana. They did find... Oh, no. Fauna Moss. The person that we're referring to is Elizabeth Bathory, who was a countess in the 1800s? No, 1500s. In fact, yeah. She became a countess in... 1575. But the rumor was that she used to murder virgin girls or virgin women, young virgin women in her village, all the villages that she ruled over, in order to maintain her youthful looks. In accusations investigation between 1602 and 1604, rumors Bathory's atrocity had spread throughout the kingdom. Lutheran minister made complaints against her both publicly and at the court in Vienna. In 1610, Matthias assigned somebody, Palatine of Hungary, to investigate. Bathory is said to have begun killing daughters of the lesser gentry who were sent to her gynoecium by parents to learn court etiquette. The use of needles was also mentioned by collaborators in court. There were many suspected forms of torture carried out by Bathory. Some witnesses named relatives who died while at the gynoecium. Others reported having seen traces of torture on dead bodies. Some were buried in the graveyards, others in unmarked graves. Most of the witnesses testified that they heard accusations from others but did not see them themselves. Servants confessed under torture, which is not credible in contemporary proceedings. They were the king's witnesses, but they were executed. Had their fingers torn out. Ooh. Let me read the rest of this before I... read it out just so blatantly here. The accusations of murder were based on rumors. There's no document to prove that anyone in the area complained about the Countess in this time period. If someone was harmed or someone even stole a chicken, a letter of complaint was written. 2 trials were held in the wake of Bathory's arrest. The first was held on the 2nd of January 1611. and the second on the 7th of January 1611. The highest number of victims cited in the trial of Bathory's accomplices was 650, but this number comes from the claim by a servant girl named Susanna that Bathory's court official had seen the figure in one of Bathory's private books. The book was never revealed, and Silvasi never mentioned it in his testimony. So the entire thing looks like it was an absolute fallacy. The entire thing looks like it was an absolute fallacy, made up entirely, you know? But yeah, that's who we're referring to. We're referring to Elizabeth Bathory, not anyone in Louisiana, I'm afraid. See enough? I'm sure you have. Dead people who are put on trial. It's all right, sorry, I'm not gonna dive anything further into that. We're talking about vampires, not just Elizabeth Bathory today, you know. How's it going, Dean? How you doing? It's the Dean. How you doing, you glorious individual? I'm doing all right, doing okay, doing all right. Happy-go-lucky scamp that I am. And we're just talking about vampires. We have so far uncovered that the original vampire, as we understand them today, comes from Bulgaria, and was more like in its origin was more like a wraith than an actual vampire. It was an incorporeal being that floated around, spreading disease and causing mischief in amongst loved ones and the neighborhoods of which they were resided when they were alive. It did coincide with the tendency tended to coincide with a specific plague in an area, and the appearances of rats, they said. And then it was when the Holy Roman Empire invaded and eventually took over places like the Slavic countries around Bulgaria that information got progressed into, like,
It's a raid. Flee.
Roman
flee.
society and what have you. Oh my lordy, yes, this raid is about you. Yes, this raid is about you. Ladies and gentlemen and all genders outside and between, delve deep into your pits of popcorn and throw them at the raiders, throw them at these cheeky devils. Look at these people coming in here. I mean, really, could you even imagine? Who do they think they are? The absolute audacity, I tell you. Look at them coming in here, getting all up in our business. Who do they think they are? The scandal, I tell you. The absolute scandal. And can I get a shout out for the beautiful Rebel Nay? Thank you very much, Biohazard. People go check out Rebel Nay. Rebel Nay is a wonderful, wonderful individual who I love very, very dearly. Glorious bean. Recently did a 12-hour fucking stream, which was fucking outrageous, but wore a great variety. Gruen Dragon! Gruen Dragon, what is this? What is this sorcery, please? Let me put some music on. Whoa. While we're welcoming in the fucking raiders, goddammit. Welcome on in, you beautiful beings. We are talking about vampires today, but I'll get to that momentarily. Friends, if you're new here, two things you need to know about this channel. One, you're not allowed to apologize. Faux pas, individuals, faux pas. Instead of saying sorry, try saying thank you. Instead of saying sorry, I'm late, say thanks for waiting. Instead of saying sorry, I'm such a burden, say thanks for being there for me. It'll make you a much more positive individual. Two, if you're under the age of 18, I have to ask you to leave. I have to ask you to leave, for I am a colossal filth wizard and don't be corrupting the ears of the
Panda to it. Panda to it.
Did I already miss the train?
Yes? Yes? Yep. 100%. Yep. Definitely missed the train. Made homemade tomato sauce today. It was delicious. Oh, that does sound good. That does sound good.
Kind.
Queer
Oh,
Hobbit.
hey, gorgeous bean. How are you? I love your entire fit today.
Thank you very much. We are doing a deep dive on mythical Halloween creatures. Today we are starting with the vampires, so naturally I have to dress like Vincent Price.
Panda to it. Panda to it.
What is this?
The lion, the witch, and the audacity of Twitch.
I mean, that is very, very true. That is very, very true. Relu, you cheeky devil. How you doing? How's it going? Right, let me write these in here. From Gruen Dragon. That's the first one. I don't like to
Panda
copy.
to my ego. Panda to it. Panda to it.
Also, interruption.
I haven't even started yet. I haven't even got onto it, Dean, you cheeky little shit. All right. How's it going, Gruen Dragon?
Panda to it. Panda to it.
A vampire train?
No. Look at it. Look at what you're doing to me. Look at what you're doing to... Some of you fantasize about this shit, all right? All right? Oh my lordy, you beautiful individuals. Thank you very much for coming in here. Right, hold on. I've done 2 of the 10 that grew in dragon. Stop it!
Most kind.
Will I turn everything into a bisexual pun? Pro-bi-bly.
God damn it. God damn it, Rebel Nay. Come on now. Where the fuck was I? Right, okay. We're getting there. I just need to get right. Right, okay, I've almost done on Growing Dragons 10 there. But was it a good stream? All you beautiful people, welcome on in. How's it going? We are doing deep dives on mythical creatures every Monday of October. We're starting with vampires. I'll give you a catch up about what we've learned about vampires as soon as I possibly can. All right, but first I've got to write these fucking 10 names due to the outrageous kindness of Growing Dragon. Thank you so much, Growing Dragon. People, if you've been gifted a sub, see a massive thank you to Growing Dragon there. I really appreciate it. Oh my god, some of these names are fucking hilarious as well.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you so much for the follow, you beautiful being. I don't like to call people out just in case they are lurking, but you're very, very welcome on here.
Pander to my ego. Pander to it. Pander to it.
Brat train chat stream brat stream chat train brat chat stream train chain strat brain dream.
What? Brat train chat stream brat stream chat train brat trap chat stream train chat strat brain team? Yes. Yeah. Yes. Let's go. Yeah. Let's go with that one. Yeah. That. Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Sure. Okay. Oh, that confused my little ill brain. Right, last one. Hold on. Okay. That's the 10 that Growing Dragon has gifted out there, you beautiful individual. Thank you so much for that. I didn't mean to. And the Queer Hobbit coming in for the 2 months. And then Rebel Nay flying out there as well. Friends, if you've been gifted a sub, please say a massive thank you to that person that gifted that sub to you by having your names upon the mirror. Veiny means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky little devils, you. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror, go, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Oh, yes, meow, you know. Welcome on in, you beautiful beings. Again, friends, go and check out the glorious Rebel Nay. Rebel Nay is a very, very, very close friend of mine. Is currently studying to be...
Subscribed. Most kind.
Milky Pork! Milky Pork, first of all, Milky Pork, come here. What do you like, claim cheeky kisses, you cheeky devil? And then giving us up to 1 more sub, baby. By having your name upon the mirror vein, it means you get access to my personal Snapchat. Not a bum Snapchat, you cheeky devil. And of course, you get access to all the sexy little emotes. But the most important thing is you go roll over every morning, look in the mirror. Oh, God, I look rough. But god damn, do I make rough look good. Ooh, harra, sexy. Ooh, yes, meow, you know. Confound thee, just as I put it down as well. Just as I put it down. Friends, go and check out the beautiful Rebel Nay. Rebel Nay is training to be a veterinary surgeon with the intention of opening up a veterinary practice right next to a animal care center so that they can provide free, they can earn money on Twitch and content creation so they can give free veterinary services to shelter animals, which is one of the most wholesome things I've ever fucking heard. All right. See what you started with those gifts? What do you mean, see what I started?
Pander to it. Pander to it.
I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker's son. And I'm only plucking pheasants till the pleasants come.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you so much for the follow, you beautiful individual. I'm not the pheasant plucker. I'm the pheasant plucker's son. I'm only plucking pheasants till the pheasant plucker comes. The big black bug bit the big black bear, and the big black bear bled bright red blood. She sells seashells on the seashore. The shells that she sells are seashells, I'm sure. I can do all this. I'm on board this shit. I get that. I know what you're talking about, all right? I know what's going on here, you cheeky little devils, you. All right. Can confirm. Rebel Nate is an absolute delight. Completely agree. Razor Bikini. Beautiful individuals. Welcome on in, by the way, friends. People, if you've got train emotes, please, please, please throw them out now. Say a massive thank you to all those people that subbed, that gifted subbed, that threw the cheeky little bitties out there. That was unreasonable. I thought we'd get away with no, I thought we'd get away with no train today, but it seems like you people had other plans and schemes. Other plans and schemes, I see, eh? You cheeky devils. It's because you're down with youth. I am so down with the youth, Hawk Nerd. I am so street. That's what they tell me. That's what they tell me. They're like, my God, that Valenvane. So very street. So down with the youths. Having a real cool time. You know, with some sick beats and loads, yes, Divlo, yes, loads of street cred. Yeah.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Nobody done harsh on this mofo, which is actually hilarious because my partner is a mother, so I am officially a mofo. It's great, you know. God damn it, friends! If you what I was saying, if all you beautiful people, including Rebel Nate, if you need to disappear off, all you glorious beans, if you need to disappear off, please, please, please do so. Your lives have to come first. All right. Your lives have to come first. I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for coming in and saying hi and clicking that follow button. For those people that click the follow button, thank you very much for that follow that's just come in right now. I appreciate you. But if you need to disappear off, I fully understand. That's cool. We are talking about vampires today. Hence why I'm dressed like an educated individual. I thought, if I put on the glad rags, wonderful things where I look like an educated human being, then maybe people will pay more attention to me. But we've decided for every Monday, we're doing Mythical Mondays in October. So for every Monday, we're going to be looking at the origin stories of a different stereotypical Halloween creature. We're starting with vampires, and then we've got witches, werewolves, zombies, and mummies, Egyptian mummies to go. So yeah, those are the plans. Those are the plans of action. But we're starting with vampires today. I'll do you a little catch up in a minute. But first, ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and between, the glorious Milky Pork has redeemed a Praise the Mods. Could you do me a massive favor and throw out some mod loves in the channel? You can use any kind of mod loves from any kind of channel. You can use any kind of love hearts from any kind of channel. Say a massive thank you to those wonderful moderators. I appreciate you mods, you glorious beans. Thank you so much for all that you do in and out of the stream. I really, really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate you glorious beans. While we're at it as well, Authenticator. Hello there, you cheeky devil. Hello there. Look at you coming over here, getting all up in my business, getting all close and personal. It's because I'm looking so unbelievably dapper right now, isn't it? Looking slick, looking delightful. You've done, I've done on how much awesome work you've done on the Depresso Nest. I'm glad that you have done a lot of work. I'm glad that you are taking time to be proud of yourself. It's the way it should be. The way it should be. And if that celebration culminates in getting all up in my business, I can understand it. I mean, I'd love to be all up in my business. I'm a little bit jealous of you, if I'm honest. A little bit jealous. Because, well, you get to see me, you cheeky devil. But you should be proud of yourself. And I'm glad that you're taking the time to be so. Cheeky devil, you. You're cheeky devil. You know? You said your partner is a mother, so I assumed a female. So you are hetero. Hognerd, no, not by any stretch of the imagination. My partner is bisexual, and I am attraction sexual. People that I'm attracted to, I feel particularly sexual about it. However, I am very much in a monogamous relationship with a woman at the moment. But just because I'm in a hetero-appearing relationship does not mean that my sexuality or her sexuality is suddenly heterosexual. We are both very much attracted to other people of other genders, and yeah, that doesn't change. That doesn't change. But I appreciate you being so respectful about the question, you know. Jailer Dark, welcome on in. How's it going? For all the mods that are doing stream and out and in and out and in and out and in and out, the mods is all about what it's all about. It's true. It's true, Mr. Trilby. It's true. Do you know what I mean? I am consexual. The boudoir deserves a Valen Smolder, right? It's the only way to do it. This is how some people make money on their accent. This is true. This is true. I have debated it many times, Rose. I've debated just being like, do you know what? I'm going to read some sultry tones or something, you know what I mean? Read some erotic poetry or something. Having a good time, you know? But thank you so much, Rebel Nay, for bringing all your people over. Again, friends, and Rebel Nay, if you need to disappear off, you need to grab some kind of beverage or snaffly treat. Your lives come first. Go do what you need to do, all right? Thanks for the explanation of clarity. Not worried. No worries at all. Thank you very much for the shout out for the glorious Rebel Nay. Once again, people go check out the beautiful Rebel Nay. Rebel Nay is a very, very good friend of mine. And well worth your love and attention. Well worth your love and attention. Beautiful bean. You know? And thanks for the answer. As a pansexual female married to a straight guy, I hate constantly having to explain myself. Jailer, I am more than happy to explain it. As somebody, like, we talked about the fact that I'm a colossal filth wizard earlier. I talk about sex a lot. If you see my TikToks, I do whimsical facts about sex all the time. In fact, fucking hell. Kale has just redeemed a vanity promo. Friends, I'm so bad at promoting myself that I have to have people redeem it through channel points to remind me to promote myself. So let's talk about my TikTok. Friends, TikTok is like my next biggest platform outside of Twitch. In fact, you know what? My TikTok platform is bigger than Twitch. My TikTok platform, like, I am bigger on Twitch, on TikTok than I am on Twitch, but I put more effort into Twitch. I stream at the moment 4 days a week on Twitch, and I fucking love it. But I do TikToks and stuff as well. And a lot of the stuff that I do is around sex education, whimsical facts about sex, combating toxic masculinity, standing up and in allyship for trans individuals and the LGBTQIA and all that, you know, like that's what I'm all about it. Why don't you stream on TikTok as well? Because I can't be asked with the confusion, Lolo Frosty. I've seen a lot of people that have done like streams like this where they'll do like a just chatting stream or something and they'll stream on Twitch and on TikTok. But for me, like, having been in those streams, no criticism to the people who do it, no criticism at all to the people that do it. For me, it's down to the quality of the stream. And if I'm constantly having two conversations, I'm having a Twitch conversation and a TikTok conversation, neither of you are getting, like, neither Twitch nor TikTok are getting all of my attention, and therefore I'm dividing it. And for me personally, that feels like it lowers the quality of the live stream, which is the reason why I'm like, I'll live stream on Twitch. I'll do other content on TikTok. I might do a live stream occasionally on TikTok, but that'll be a TikTok live stream and it'll be separate to a Twitch live stream. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? It's a personal choice. It's very much a personal choice. And I have no criticism of people that do it the other way around. Some people are very, very good at doing the other way around. But for me personally, a lot of what the conversation comes in, especially in just chatting streams, is people will want to read what it is that I'm responding to. I'll read it out and people will look for it and be like, oh, so there we go. Kraken not stirred, you beautiful bean. Filth wizard, such a great expression, you know? Now, people, if I did it over on TikTok as well, people would be like, who said that? Who was the person that said that? What's going on there? Who are they responding to? Or if it was like on TikTok, they'd do the reverse. And I'm just like, do you know what? Keep it simple. Keep it all in one location. And that way, I'm not fretting over stuff. I'm not stressing over things. And I'm not causing in my personal opinion, a lesser quality for both of them. I'd just do a quality one for Twitch. And if I ever want to stream on TikTok, then I'll do a quality one for TikTok. You know? That's my personal view. That's my personal view. I did it once, forgot to plug his phone and bash around. Yep, that is true. I did 3 live streams on TikTok. I used to do I think it was after stream. No, I did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday on Twitch, and then I did on Friday night. I did a live stream on TikTok, and I did it for like 3 weeks. And yeah, it was a weird sensation. It was a weird thing. And not that I wouldn't do it again on TikTok, but TikTok is a very, very different environment to Twitch. This feels like a community. It feels very wholesome and together, and like people are there and they want to have conversations. They want to get to know each other. TikTok can be like that. There are definitely people that have come over from TikTok in this community that are fucking great individuals and what have you. But there does seem to be a lot more of a in it for yourself environment on TikTok lives that I have noticed. I do tune into other people's lives as well just to find out how they're doing and stuff like that, but it does seem to be a lot more of an environment of in it for yourself rather than an environment of conversation and community and support and what have you, you know. Add colossal filth wizard. It's the only way to do it. It's the only way to do it. The mod attic one big orgy room. They do it really disgusting things, like making cups of tea in a microwave. Oh, Mr. Trilby, that wouldn't fucking happen in here. Not around these parts, good lord. I mean, being paid back for the shoes to stick to the floor, right? It's true. I've previously only encountered this look when playing TCG Vampire, The Eternal Struggle, and it started Magic 40. It's fun to see it again. I like it. What is TCG Vampire? What's that, Rose? Tell me more. Tell me more. TikTok lives get more trolls. Yeah. TikTok is a instant gratification site. I love it. I got on very, very well with it. I like the way that I do content on it, but it is an instant gratification site, which means that you're more likely to get people that enjoy the amusement that comes with it. It comes with trolling. Not that I understand it, but people obviously do understand it. And therefore go to places like the places that foster that environment, like TikTok, and more specifically like places like Kick, you know. Well, someone forgot about the puns. I didn't forget about them, just didn't want to. Didn't want to roll that out there, Mr. Trilby, you cheeky devil. How's it going, Faye? How you doing? Tea is made with kettle. Tea is always made with kettle. Trading card game. I didn't even realize there was a vampire trading card game. Well, shit. I did not even know that, Rose. Didn't even know that. That is a new one on me. Gosh darn it. No fucking clue. Fair play. I played Vampire the Masquerade, the roleplay game, as well as like some of the computer games and stuff like that. But when this is the thing. This is the reason why we're talking. Mr. Trilby, I see what you did. You wait for all these raiders to come in and then you little git. You little git. God damn it. Yeah, Gruan Dragon. I noticed this. It wasn't you this time, Gruan Dragon. Don't worry. There's enough people in here that are after it. They're all about that shit. Little devils they are. Little devils. Formerly before 2001, the Jihad. The card game is for Vampire the Masquerade.
Panda to my ego. Panda to it. Panda to it.
Oops. My hand slipped.
Of course it did. Of course it did, Asari. Thank you very much for the 100 little panderings. Thank you very much. Well, this is the thing. So the whole point of today is we're Mythical Mondays. We're talking about like doing, oh my god, words. Mythical Mondays, doing the different things. Don't you dare, Evil Gruan. Evil Gruan? Evil Gruan reads Evil Grin, adapts it to name. Still applicable somehow. Still applicable. All right? Don't you fucking dare. Yeah, we're talking about vampires. Words are hard. Words are fucking hard. I've had the flu for like the past week, friends, and it has been a pain in the fucking ass. Yeah, my brain's all gooey and horrible. Samurai Afro, how you doing? How's it going? Yeah, we're doing education stuff. All right, we're doing educational things. All right. So every Monday we're talking about different monsters of the Halloween traditions and what have yous. And today we're talking about vampires. So far, we have learned not all vampires, because nearly every culture in the entire world has an understanding of a vampiric creature. A dead creature that rises from the grave to absorb the life essence of the living. All right? That is what the vampire, generically, vampiric tendencies tend to be. What we have learned so far... Don't you dare, Gruan Dragon. I hate the way you've already calculated it. Stop. Pain in the ass. Use more lube. I mean, to be fair. What we've learned so far is that our current understanding of what a vampiric creature is in this day and age, in the Western world especially, is that it started in Bulgaria. The undead leech, exactly. Well, it started in Bulgaria, and it started as more of a wraith creature. This was like 1,000 odd years ago. It started as a wraith creature. Now, there's always been stories from like the ancient Greek times, ancient Roman times, the Mesopotamians and stuff like that, about demonic creatures that feed off the life essence of the living. But the specific vampiric creature that we know in this day and age stems from the Slavic nations, very specifically around Bulgaria and stuff like that. And it was when the Roman Empire invaded that entire area, took over the Slavic nations, that the vampire legend started spreading across the rest of the world. So this was in like the 1500s. I can't remember the actual thing. Bulgaria and Romania. Yes, yeah, Bulgaria. Well, it's very specifically Bulgaria. Was the articles that we've been reading came from Bulgaria. So the original vampire wasn't a flesh creature. It was more like a wraith. So it was a wraith that would rise from the dead, rise from its grave, and spread plague and cause mischief and misfortune on the loved ones and the neighborhood of which that person used to reside. They always used to be bloated and very blotchy and dark of like bruised of skin. And a lot of that comes down to the fact that when you would dig up the corpse and what have you, they didn't have all of the corpse preparation stuff that we have in this day and age, and therefore the body would fill with gases. It would be swelled. The blood would settle inside the body.
Panda to it. Panda to it.
Zooty booty, you cheeky devil. Thank you very much for the 100 little panderings. The blood would settle in the body, and that was what would cause the bruised patches and what have you, because it had nowhere to go. So they'd be like, look at this corpse has obviously gorged itself. We found out that the actual dynamic of feeding off blood came when it came across over to London and Germany and the more Western European of civilization during the 1700s, because it was like, oh, this is a wraith-like creature. The vampire translates to ghost something or other. We had it a second ago. Bear with me. I'll get it back up again because it's important. Vampire itself. Ghost monster. The word vampire translates roughly as ghost monster. So they started as ghosts in... How's it going, Sway? How you doing? They started as ghosts in the Bulgarian region, more like wraith creatures than anything else that would feed off the life essence and therefore cause plagues in amongst the local society. When that came over to like through Europe and over specifically to England, by the 1700s, there was more of a view of science around the dynamic, and therefore they were like, oh, well, they can't feed off an incorporeal concept. It must be a resurrected corpse that feeds off the life essence of a person. What is the life essence? Well, in accordance with the arguments with the church that the scientific doctors were having with the church at the time, blood was life essence. The thing that causes the body to be full of life is blood in the 1700s. And the church was saying that the blood contains the soul. So there was all kinds of medicines in the 1700s that were like prescribing human blood out to people to treat their epilepsy and their blindness and all that jazz. And the church were like, no, you shouldn't be taking medicine. You should be believing in God. God will save you completely. The blood is the soul, like the blood of Christ. No, you should not do this. This is bad. No, do not do this. Believe in God. Do not pay attention to science and medicine. But that actually lended fuel to the whole dynamic of vampirism, because scientists in the 1700s would be like, well, actually that makes sense. If the blood contains the soul of a person, then when the vampire drinks the blood, they must take in the vital living essence of that person, you know? Some things will never change, right, Joro? Right, I've said this before. I will never, ever, 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 for all those new people that are here, I will never have an issue with anybody and their faith. You know, you have your faith, that is perfectly fine, so long as you're not trying to convert me to it, that is perfectly grand. I will always have an issue with organized religion. I will always, because organized religion is a construction of power made by human beings, construction of control. Faith is a one person's individual relationship with their deity. And or deities, and or spirits, and or jinn, and or whatever, you know? No worries, Mr. Trilby. You take it easy. You take it easy. How's it going, Carol? How you doing? Long time no see. Here we doing well. Always picking on God will save you. I mean, you know. You sound like just like Eddie Izzard. DJ Pulse Power, I take that as a massive, massive compliment. I went on tour with Eddie Izzard many moons ago. I was their dressing room monkey. As you was about 13 years ago for the stripped tour that they did. I went on the tour, and everywhere they went, I was the one that decorated their dressing room to make it look real pretty, like, you know? Talking about IRL vampire history? Yes, Acanthe. Yes, indeed. Faith should be treated like a penis. Share it with those that want to see it. Don't shove it down people's throats without consent. Yes, agreed. Agreed. So yeah, so that's where we've kind of got up to so far. And then we were looking further into the folklore dynamic of like other situations with the vampires. So we were saying about the Mesopotamians, the Hebrews, the ancient Greeks, the Manipuri, and the Romans all had tales about demons and spirits, which are considered precursors to modern vampires. But not quite the same as what we understand vampires to be in this day and age. Also, like I said, the old vampires were all blotchy, bruised, and bloated creatures, not slender, pale, and alluring, what have yous. We also had a brief talk about the fact that the word Nosferatu actually means plague bearer. And again, comes down to that whole dynamic of a Nosferatu was somewhere between a vampire and a zombie in the old understanding of it. Yeah, so it's difficult to make a single definitive description of folklore vampire, the several elements to the European legends. Vampires were usually reported as bloated in appearance, ruddy purplish or dark in color. These characteristics were often attributed to the recent drinking of blood, which was often seen seeping from the mouth and nose when one was seen in its shroud or coffin, and its left eye was often open. This would be clad in linen and shrouded. It was buried in. Its teeth, hair, and nails may have grown somewhat, though in general fangs were not a feature. So the original vampires didn't have fangs. And the teeth, hair, and nails is a really interesting fact, because people keep saying, oh, when you've died, when you're a corpse and stuff, your teeth, hair, and nails keep growing. They don't. They don't keep growing. What actually happens is as your body's, as the fluids in your body, like slowly dissipate from your body through whatever means it needs to do, the skin shrinks back, so it gives the appearance of grown nails and grown hair, and like showing of the lips, because the lips would shrink back with the actual basic decomposition of your body. We talked about the swelling earlier, just being the gases in the body. Every body does that unless it's drained of its liquids. and what have you. So yeah, like that was where they originally were seen to be, you know. The causes of vampiric generations were many and varied in the original folklore. In Slavic and Chinese traditions, any corpse that was jumped over by an animal, particularly a dog or a cat, was feared to become the undead. A body with a wound that had not been treated with boiling water was also at risk. And in Russian folklore, vampires were said to have once been witches or people who had rebelled against the Russian Orthodox Church while they were alive. In Albanian folklore, the Dampir is a hybrid child of a lycanthropic creature with an iron mail shirt. Or the Lugat, a water-dwelling ghost or monster. The Dampir sprung... Okay, so it was a half mythical creature, half human by the looks of things. Whether it be lycanthropic or dwelling and what have you. Identifying vampires, protection, and methods of destruction. Oh, gotta love that. Gotta love that. Love being drained of liquid. I mean. So vampires were the yesteryear. Yeah, vampires of the yesteryears weren't the hunks they're portrayed as. Far from it. Far from it. In fact, to be fair, like one of the we were talking a little while ago about the fact that the way that Dracula and Abby Stabby came in earlier and was talking about the novel Vampire with a Y, and how those characters were portrayed as, it was a weird. Many scholars have talked about this tales of like Dracula and Vampire and other similar ones of the time, about how it was how they were seen as the corruption of the upper classes, usually around immoral characters, based around immoral characters like Lord Byron, for example. It was the idea of here is a person of noble birth who indulges in sinful acts and therefore is likely to be a vampire of some description, like hedonistic orgies, like homosexuality in a very Christian prevalent area, or very Christian prevalent time, murder, drinking of blood, things that were frowned upon in the years that the late 1700s, 1800s, that these in fact it was late 1800s for Dracula, wasn't it? And I think it was, let me find out. Vampire novel. The Vampire was written in Polidori, 1819. Yeah, so the 1800s, both beginning and end, that was when the vampire started being seen as a more charming creature. A more well-to-do, well-dressed, well-presented, noble creature. But behind that nobility was a monster. And it was actually quite an interesting telltale on the behavior of some of the nobles of the time, you know? So interesting how there's several explanations from point of view from biological viewpoints. Yeah. The Byronic hero. Ah, yes. Of the Scottish female vampires who lure men onto the moors to dance and suck them dry. There's a whole load of things around that, and a lot of mixed folklore around that as well, in regards to whether they be vampires, whether they be, especially with Celtic folklore, whether they be fae, of the fae creatures, because fairies, it was in the beginning of the 1900s, late 1800s and early 1900s, where fairies took on this, oh, we're trying to help people, we're so kind and innocent and beautiful. The old fae of like the Welsh and Celtic traditions were far more tricksome. They would take entire herds of cattle and dump them in a completely different field just to piss off people. They'd steal children and replace them with their own. They were not nice creatures. Gums recede, also giving the teeth an appearance of being fangs, or certainly elongated. Yes, for sure. It's like rigor mortis and bodies rising, becoming pale. The fluid obeys gravity. It certainly does obey gravity, but also the rising thing is to do with like the gases and stuff. Like I got a friend who used to work in the morgues and stuff like that, and they were telling me all about how they were like the first couple of weeks you're there are genuinely terrifying, because the bodies, as the body is being treated, the gas needs to leave the body. Now, sometimes there's like remaining fiery signals from the body, from the brain to the limbs and stuff. Like the brain's completely dead, but there's still like electricity within the brain that causes jerks. It'll cause like hands to move and legs to move, and in some rare circumstances, dead bodies to sit up. They will sit up entirely, and then they'll lie back down again, or they'll collapse back down again, so like that, because it's the body flaring off these muscles and nerve endings that keep it moving after death, which is fucking wild. But on top of that, they'd also moan. They would genuinely moan. They'd be like, which is like the air and the gases inside the lungs and your stomach trying to make its way out. The only way that it can do is through the mouth or through the arsehole. So they'd either moan or they'd fart. You know? Which is fucking wild to me. Do you know what I mean? Minecraft Builder, are you wearing a costume just for the stream, or do you go out in public looking like this? I mean, I would go out in public looking like this. I have done in the past, gone out in public looking like this, for sure. But for this specific one, it's far more of a costume dynamic because of the fact that we're doing something educational to do with horror and the origins of vampires. So I thought I'd dress in a far more educated manner, you know? Also, welcome on in. How you doing? The novel Dracula is a disjointed read, the way it's written. Well, it was written in exactly the same, the way that it should have. Dracula was written in the way that was popular in the day and age. So in the late 1800s, when Dracula was written, it was down like the popular way of writing novels was through correspondence. So you would be reading a selection of letters, because the late 1800s was when people like international transportation was far more readily available to those of an upper class dynamic across Europe and what have you. So people would go on adventures. They would go travel to different locations because they were able to now. But they didn't have phones. They didn't have things. So the only way to contact people was through written word. So the way that would represent an easy way of getting a connection, so many people were receiving letters, a very easy way to identify with that audience is to write a novel through the medium of a series of letters. You know? Which is fascinating, but not an easy read for this day and age, for sure. Do you know what I mean? I've heard, if you've not already mentioned, that vampires weren't sexualized till Anne Rice interview with a vampire. And they were sexualized, but not in the same way that Anne Rice specifically sexualized them. I don't know whether there was any pre-Anne Rice sexualizations of or any well-known pre-Anne Rice sexualizations of the vampire creature, but the vampires were always seen to, since the novel Vampire, which is by fucking hell, what's his name? John William Polidori, who basically was writing a novel about Lord Byron, who was a sexual tyrant in and of themselves, and Bram Stoker. They were always very hedonistic. The whole dynamic of a noble person having the power to indulge in sin, to have sex, very specifically homosexual sex, in a very Christian society that frowned upon homosexuality. The dynamic of like you only have sex with your wife, That is the only person that you're allowed to have sex with, because that is what our Christian society agrees with in the late 1800s, or throughout the 1800s. And then you've got these noble people who are powerful and charming and affluent, but behind that charm is a monster. And you can tell that they're a monster because they are happy to have sex with everybody. They are happy to woo and coitally engage with, in a homosexual way. They will fall in love, or what the vampire perceives to be love, with a mortal woman, but that is just to add to their wives. The concept of Dracula having multiple wives was mind-boggling to the English culture of the time. So they were seen to have sex. They were not seen as sexualized, I think is the difference there. Like the way that the late 1800s would have read Dracula is, my God, how immoral. They wouldn't have gone, fucking hell, what a player. Like, that wouldn't have been their approach. They'd have been like, my God, what an immoral creature. To be this creature that woos unsuspecting men and women into their bed to be drained and slept with. You know? Absolutely, vampire literature really followed different eras, political views, etc. Most certainly. Glad drinking of blood isn't frowned upon anymore. I wouldn't say that it's openly accepted, but I wouldn't say it's frowned upon. You know? Van Vane is a vampire. Definitely not. Don't know what you're talking about. I've been out in the sunshine. As long as they were male, the females were painted from the so-called hysterical women. Yep. French Marquis de Sade, and the leader of the Illuminati, both in the 1700s. I think are good examples. Yeah. Swedish Fae too. Things to scare kids with, most certainly. Fae are horrifying. Yeah. Theremin player, how you doing? How's it going? Seeing some creepy Fae, always wondered why some seem sweet and others not. The best you would get with especially old folklore Fae, was that a good Fae was a tricksome Fae. They would be tricksome as opposed to evil. You would never really get good fairies. You might get the occasional one that felt guilty about how badly their trick went, but they were always tricksome, you know? Talked about how vampire was said to have homosexual undertones, and also Camilla for lesbians. Yeah, we haven't got onto the whole Camilla thing, but I don't know too much about Camilla, other than the fact that Camilla and Elizabeth Bathory are often crossed over. Though I seem to remember that Camilla is based upon... Yeah, title character, the original prototype for a legion of female and lesbian vampires. Who are you based upon? 1872 Gothic novella by Irish author Sheridan Le Fanu. One of the earliest works of vampire fiction, lesbianism and stuff. We love that. Oh, they're not. They're not based on anything. But that predates the story of Camilla predates Dracula. I didn't know that. Did not know that. That's new. Yeah, when the corpse is set up. Sorry about even the Fae were helpful spirits, but they were temperamental. Yeah, they're temperamental for sure. It was also about sickness. Heard that ghosts were never transparent or orbs before the 20th century. These new light machines made these shows, then people started associating ghosts with orbs. The whole ghost orb thing just boggles my mind. People, like, it was imperfections in the film. That's what it basically comes down to. Do you know what? I was watching, I'm not a massive believer in ghosts. I'm not going to say that they don't exist, but I'm going to say that I'm not a massive believer in ghosts. However, what I will say is that... Oh, we've got a whole lot of stuff going on. What I will say is that I am extremely skeptical. And I was watching a ghost hunt, but I love ghost hunting programs. I think they're fucking hilarious and fascinating the way that they go about it. I found it particularly interesting. I found one on YouTube recently, which is they never ever draw attention to ghost orbs. They just don't do it. It happens and they're just like, well, it's obviously a bug or some dust, because the chances are it's a bug or some dust. You know what I mean? A random bit of glitter that's been there since fucking the 1800s or whatever, because that shit stays around for fucking ages, you know? I'm gonna scroll down a wee bit. Costume, nice smoking jacket, exactly, right? All right. Implication toward cancer too. I mean, anything, any kind of illness, especially when it came to like vampire stuff. Vampires were plague bearers, you know. As for anyone else, just you. Oh no, is that adverts? Boo! I was hoping to catch the adverts. I'll tell you what, friends. I'm going to use this opportunity to quickly go visit urination station and refill my glass while people are on adverts. Friends, get up, have a stretch your eyes, look at something in the distance, and look back again. Grab some kind of beverage, hot, cold, or if the time is permitting, flamboyant as fuck. I'll be back in a couple of seconds because I know there's like 20 seconds left on the ads or what have you. But I'll be back in a minute. I'm just going to go and grab some water and go visit the urination station. Then we'll crack on with this. All right? All right? I'll be back in a minute. Don't go anywhere. See you in a second. Okay. Thanks very much for waiting, friends. Thanks very much for waiting. I wanted to just go visit the urination station, get myself a nice glass of water. Not blood, water. Vampires metaphor for the rich living off the poor. I mean, there certainly was elements of that Griff Star in some of that like 1800s literature for sure. In 1879, the Nordic creature called the Draugr was vampire that used contagion like the original vampires. Well, this is the thing, we were talking about like the word Nosferatu. The word Nosferatu literally means plague bearer, which I've always found particularly fascinating, you know what I mean? Jack, you're gay, welcome on in. Okay. Oh, did I miss a whole load of stuff? And my mods. Okay, cool. See how it is. Right, let's deal with this very quickly then. Jack, you're gay. Okay. Great. Welcome on in. Are you a vampire? No, I am definitely not a vampire. I'm very sexy if that's what you're after, but no, I'm not a vampire. You confess you're a trans robot. Well, trans is Latin for the other side of. Like cis is Latin for the same side of. So when I say I'm cisgendered, it means I am the same side as the gender that was given to me at birth. So when you say you're a trans robot, would you like to explain that a little further to us, you know? Confess you're attracted to Megamind? Well, that means you're very attracted to me then, because my forehead is almost as big as Megamind, you know? Your fish call in the background, thank you very much. We have some Malawi cichlids over here, and then over here in this tank that's gone off now.
Ooh, you little stalker.
We actually have some little red-clawed crabs.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Welcome on in. Thank you very much for these follows. I don't like to call people out just in case they're lurking.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much. Wish I was an immortal machine that could survive humanity, but cool with it while they were around. Can we get over? No, I was about to say, I wouldn't want to be immortal. I've thought about it. When I was like in my teenage years, I was like, oh, immortality would be absolutely fucking amazing. These days, I'm like, I wasn't thinking of Elizabeth Bathory, Green Dragon.
Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much for these follows, you beautiful beings. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. I wasn't thinking of Elizabeth Bathory. Elizabeth Bathory, we actually looked into Elizabeth Bathory earlier on, and it turns out that there was no actual proof of her ever having murdered somebody. All of the justifications, all of the testimonies given about Elizabeth Bathory in the court were from hearsay. It was all, I heard somebody say that they were that she'd been murdering and torturing people, and it was actually nothing to do with it, you know. It was wild. Oh, thank you very much, mods. Oh, you're already on it. Cool. Thank you very much, mods. How's your power coming with the cultists? Welcome on, Japanimation girl. Welcome on in. How you doing? Disappeared for 2 seconds and the trolls swan on in. That's all right. That's all right. Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and between, the glorious KL has redeemed it. Praise the mods. Could you do me a massive favor and throw out some mod loves in the channel? Say a massive thank you to those wonderful moderators. You can use any kind of mod loves from any kind of channel. You can use any kind of love hearts from any kind of channel. Say a massive thank you to those wonderful beings. Mods, thank you so much for what you do. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. You got 99 problems with being a homophobic game. One, I love that, Rose. I love that. Wash your hands. Oh, I always wash my hands, all witness. Always wash your fucking hands. Wash your piss mittens. That's what it's all about. Do you know what I mean? That's what it's all about. Check a little now. They were most common in literature for the sick vampires to have symptoms around their throats, chest, and lungs. They often had a cough. The sickness, leukemia, lung disease, and such were the most common diseases. That does, to be described, that does make a lot of sense. Especially when they didn't fully understand things. There was like so many things that were just like, oh, they died of the pox. And it's like, as in some description of like chicken pox or smallpox. And it's just like the pox. What? They had markings on their body? A pox could be everything from chickenpox to shingles to smallpox to anything that causes any kind of rash on the bodies was considered a pox. Do you know what I mean? And it's wild. Like, when you look back at history, it's just like, oh, yeah, the pox. You know? You know? Mate Dracula Jesus. He had a lot on his head. There is a movie about Dracula being Judas, isn't there? It was like Dracula 2000 or some fucking shite movie like that. But that was an entire thing. PC game Skyrim used Draugr to great effect, though they were zombie kind of undead. I have not played Skyrim. I've played Morrowind and I've played Oblivion, but I haven't played Skyrim. However, I did see an article about the fact that they were somebody had made a mod for Skyrim which was the first Vampire the Masquerade PC game.
Flee!
Which is Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside in between, delve deep into your pits of popcorn and throw them at the raiders, throw them at these cheeky devils. Look at these people coming in here. I mean, really, could you even imagine? Who do they think they are? People, go check out the glorious Joey drawings. A wonderful artist, a fantastic, glorious individual who we love very, very dearly. Joey, thank you very much for bringing your people in here. I very, very much appreciate it, you glorious bean. Welcome on in, friends. Welcome on in. How you doing? How's it going? How's things, you cheeky little devils? How's things? People, welcome on in. If you are new here, 2 things you need to know about this channel. 1, you're not allowed to apologize. Faux pas, individuals, faux pas. Instead of saying sorry, try saying thank you. Instead of saying sorry, I'm late, say thanks for waiting. I can speak, honestly. Instead of saying sorry, I'm late, say thanks for waiting. Instead of saying sorry, I'm such a burden, say thanks for being there for me. It'll make you a much more positive individual. 2, if you're under the age of 18, I have to ask you to leave. I have to ask you to leave, you cheeky devils, and of course you get access to all this... What the fuck? Because I am a colossal filth wizard. I'm getting all of my usual... The stuff that's normally coming out is all getting mixed up in my brain. I've been very ill for like the last week, friends. And as a result, my brain is just fucking mush. Okay? But we're getting there. We're getting there. How's it going, Jam? Welcome back. How you doing? How are we all this evening? Doing pretty fucking well. Thank you very much. Just going to swing this hammer today. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I missed them entirely because we were getting so caught up in the actual conversation. Like a decent, good conversation around vampires and vampire mythology and the vampires within literature and stuff like that. We are having a great conversation about it, and then we had a couple of trolls sneak in and just be like, nah, I'm gay. And it's like, okay. What's your point? There's a lot of people in here that are gay. It's great. You know? I didn't mean gay. I meant something else that's more offensive. Okay. All right. Your forehead is super smooth. Are you in your 20s? I'm most certainly not in my 20s. I am not in my 20s. My forehead is super smooth so long as I don't do this. Which actually looks super smooth because of the light. But actually, I definitely do not have a super smooth forehead at all. I am very much in my 30s. Mid-30s. 36. Having a wonderful time. You know? You know? Bathory was basically a witch hunt with all the falseness that implies. She was just an inconveniently rich and powerful woman that needs to be removed. There was a noble woman, and I keep thinking it was Elizabeth Bathory, but I've got a feeling it's not. By the way, all those people, those beautiful people that came in with the raid, if you need to disappear off and grab some kind of beverage, grab some kind of snaffly treats, go and do your thing, look after yourselves, do what you need to do, all right? We are talking about vampires today. Where every Monday in October, we're doing a deep dive on one of the traditional monsters of Halloween. So we're starting with vampires. We're also going to be covering witches, zombies, werewolves, and mummies this October. If it turns out to be a really fun thing that people love doing, then we'll do it again next October as well. Do you know what I mean? I enjoy this shit. So I enjoy looking and finding out about all of these this delightful information and stuff. So yeah, if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome. If you don't want to, that's also cool. That is also cool. Yeah, there was a noblewoman who she was a noblewoman who married a lord of the land. The lord of the land went out to a neighboring country and was murdered in that country. And they sent his head back to the noblewoman. The noblewoman then invited the neighboring country to like her home, was like, could you please send an envoy, for I am but a weak woman, and it would be great to have someone as powerful as you, now that you have murdered my husband, as an ally to look after me and my people. And they were like, oh, of course, this is amazing. We can go and take over with no real issue because there's just a weak woman in charge. And they sent an envoy to, it might have been Boadicea. St. Olga of Kiev. No, I don't think this person was a saint. I do not think this person was a saint. They got the envoy over, and she killed the entire envoy. She killed the entire envoy and sent their heads back to them. And they were like, this is awful. We're going to invade you. And she was like, oh, this is a big mistake. This is a big mistake. I shouldn't have done this. This is awful. Please. Why don't we settle this by you marrying me, as I am a young, beautiful bride? You marry me, and I will, and my lands will be yours. And so they came, they got married, and they got everyone drunk. And while the entire wedding procession was drunk, she ordered for them all to be murdered and thrown in a ditch and covered in petrol and set on fire. Obviously not petrol, but that equivalent, do you know what I mean? She almost burnt a virgin to the ground using pigeons. Love Olga of Kiev. No, it might be Olga of Kiev then. Maybe it was. Maybe it was. Indeed, sent Olga of Kiev, though there was a lot behind her story. She was sainted after her death. That is wild. I love that. I love that. In which case, there you go. That's who I thought. I thought it was a thing. I didn't realize she'd been sainted. That's fucking pretty savage for a saint to be doing, but I'll take it. I'll take it. Do you know what I mean? Technically Cake, 6 minutes ago, you asked me a schmex question. How do you make your hair look sexy and full? I use a lot of biotin shampoo. Biotin shampoo, and like I've got like multivitamins that have biotin and selenium in them. In regards to shampoos, I tend to use shampoo and conditioner that contains either biotin or argan oil. And then I use argan oil on my hair when it's wet and comb it very gently through my hair when it's wet and let it dry naturally. And that way it creates that ringlety vibe going on here. Although at the moment it's looking a bit frizzy because I walked outside earlier and naturally the wind took away with it, you know. But that is the answer to the question of how my hair is currently the way that it is. All of the ringlets and bits and pieces, you know. And it does get real ringlety, as you can see there. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that ringlet. Boing. Do you know what I mean? Fucking pain in the ass. So we got some dainty curls. Got some dainty curls. It's the only way to do it. I listened to some podcasts by historians who would disagree about Bathory. She and her husband were terrifying if reports were accurate. I have no idea. I'm just going off the article that we just read about Elizabeth Bathory and the Wikipedia, which naturally the Wikipedia is not always trustworthy because anybody can fucking change it. However, it was saying multiple things. It was like some historians have said this, other historians have said this. However, there is no certifiable evidence to prove that Elizabeth Bathory, she might have been terrifying. She might have been terrifying. Her and her husband may have been terrifying themselves. But when it came to the actual court trial, historians have said that there is no definable evidence that she actually did what she was purported to have done. There was a lot of people saying she did, because they talked about it being like 645 people, like that there was like she was reported to have murdered 645 people, and it's just like that's an awful lot of people for the 1600s when the average village contained 20 people. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of people. Is that a cravat you're wearing? It certainly is. Actually, do you know what? It's not. It's not a cravat I'm wearing. It is a chiffony scarf that I have made into a cravat. Dracula 2000 was great. I remember watching it and being like, for fuck's sake. I didn't enjoy it. Do you know what I mean? The one with Jerry Ryan as one of Dracula's brides. Don't remember. Don't remember. It was a long, long time ago. Asari Greenfire. I realized that you redeemed 26 minutes ago. You redeemed a Victorian device. I'm going to refund that because I've got so many other things going on at the moment. So I'll give you all your points back. All right. Feymar, a Swedish word for it, who kind of explains anxiety attacks when you lie in bed, unrelated to vampires. I know. I can't think there's also like there's the whole dynamic of fucking incubus and succubus and stuff like that. Basically, the TLDR on incubus and succubus, the incubus demon is a lot of people think it's the same kind of demon. All right, you'd have incubus and succubus. All right, the succubus demon was the beautiful woman who would lure men away from their marriages. They would convince men to commit adultery because, of course, it wasn't the man's fault that he cheated on his wife. No, it was definitely a demon who had tempted him out of his marriage because he would never do it of his own volition. It must have been a demon. Must have been. That's the only way it could possibly have been. Heaven forfend. He was just too weak, so kill the demon instead. Do you know what I mean? Kill the woman who was obviously a succubus demon because he would never be unfaithful because he's a man. And a lot of people think that the incubus demon is like the same sort of lustful, but like the man lust. Oh, I'm the man lust. Not at all. Not by any stretch of the imagination. The incubus demon is fucking horrible. The incubus demon was, you would have the succubus demon, who was the reason why men cheated on their wives, and you would have the incubus demon, which was the reason for sleep paralysis, night terrors, and people dreaming of being SA'd in their sleep, effectively. That was the incubus demon. And people are like, incubus, succubus, they're the same thing. It's like, no, not at all. Not at all. One is all about wooing and sultry lust and dynamics and stuff like that, and also a scapegoat for people being cheaters. The other is a horrific creature. You know? I did a lot of research into this shit when I was a teenager. Anyway. Would love you to join one of my D&D campaigns. D&D and Dice, thank you very much for the invitation. I very much appreciate that. Unfortunately, time is not something I have a lot of. There's a lot of TTRPG shows that have been asking me to join, but I just can't commit the amount of time that they need me to commit to them. Because they go on and they do like long form games that last fucking 10, 12 weeks or whatever, and I just do not have the time to commit to 10 to 12 weeks of a single show. Do you know what I mean? But thank you very much for the invite. I appreciate that. Saying words, I get that. Are you broken? Near enough, to be honest with you. My brain has not been functioning very well today. It has to be said. Got a day off due to drawing a yummy mummy for Sexy Spooky Month. I love that. Love that, Joey Drawings. If you need to disappear off, by the way, Joey, I appreciate you bringing people over here. How was your stream, though? Was it good? Was it great? Was it wonderful? You know, for the gay. Low caliber trolls, they certainly fucking were. It's okay if I tip a few really good vampire books facts. I only have 2 in English, though, and 1 in Swedish. Last mostly. I mean, you can put them into chat, can't they? Yeah, for sure. Good for you, trolls. Go back under your bridge and stay there. Japanimation girl, 100%. Do you know what? We have a lot of trolls in here. We have a lot of trolls in here. They come in and they usually... Normally, I catch them relatively early and I flirt with them. But this time, I was like, I'm too busy doing other things and my brain's not working. Tana, how you doing? How's it going? Welcome on in. How you doing? Then we talk about Saint Olga. I'm just catching up with chat friends. Bear with. Savage Saints, my new metal band. I mean, to be fair. Did I make Victorian Vice? No, I refunded it, Asari. I refunded it just because I've got too many other things going on right at this moment in time. My brain is gooey. You know, so you got your points back. You're more than welcome to redeem them at another point, for sure. Basically, some jerks murdered her husband and tried to force her into a remarriage. The shit she did in response was badass. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you very much for the follow, you beautiful being. Welcome on in. I don't like to call people out just in case they are lurking, but you're very, very welcome here, you glorious being. When I had hair, wistful sigh. Like an Edwardian prince, those blonde curls. My hair has got increasingly curly as time's gone on. I was born with white blonde hair. When I was a child, I had white blonde hair, like full-on curly blonde hair. And as I've got older, it's got darker and darker and darker, but it's got more ringlety. It's very weird. Very, very strange, but I love it, you know? You know? There's also a lot of places going to be required for the hiding of corpses. Yeah. So, well, I mean, you say that, but we've definitely seen more than one mass grave that's been discovered in the world over the years. Do you know what I mean? It's cravat, not an ascot. I can't remember. Maybe. Maybe. Yeah. Ascot if you're a member of the Scooby-Doo gang. Ah, okay. That makes sense. Debt being cancelled for Bathory family to be allowed to manage her captivity suggests that there were charges were politically motivated since they were quite powerful person. Yeah. I think there was definitely political motivation, and I think a lot of it might have been simply been down to the idea of they didn't like the idea of a woman having power. Let's be honest about it, you know. Or more specifically, a strong-willed woman having power that wouldn't marry anybody that they told her to marry and all that jazz. Do you know what I mean? I haven't met my paralysis demon yet. Probably wise. And from Bathory's family, I meant they're erasing the debt instead of cashing it in. Yeah. What happened to the For the Gates t-shirt? I am revamping my entire merchandise thing, but the merch is all still there. It's all still there on the current website and stuff like that. It should all still be there, but I'm revamping the entire thing and moving away from Redbubble because Redbubble has had some particularly problematic recent endeavors, and therefore I'm trying to find an entirely new place to take it all over to. You know, as the bot gons a bit sleep. Reconnect. There we go. Cravat and Croatian are the same word. Okay. Vampire books. Vampire, a casebook edited by Alan Dundee. Vampire Encounters with the Undead by David J. Scarl. And a bonus, Neil Gaiman wrote quite a few factual books about it. Neil Gaiman wrote a very interesting book about the Norse myths, which I thought was interesting. So, considering the kind of fictional work he's done, it was interesting to see him do some non-fictional work about fictional dynamics, you know. Was told that it looks like fingers in plug sockets at times. Eating crusts made my hair curly. Eating crust made my hair curly is the classic one. Oh. Apparently, Nibirin, you're not allowed to have a look at my merch. The bot won't allow it. The bot just won't allow it. All right, it just won't allow it. It's just not having any of it. Okay, that's just the way it is. All right. Apparently, but yeah. Anyway, where were we? Fucking hell. Right, stuff and things. Where's my actual stuff about thingies? Right, music. Shut the fuck up. There's the etymology and word description. Ancient beliefs. Tales of the supernatural beings consuming the blood of the flesh and living has been found in nearly every culture around the world for many centuries. The term vampire did not exist in ancient times. Blood drinking and similar activities were attributed to demons or spirits who would eat the flesh and drink the blood. Even the devil was considered synonymous with the vampire. Almost every culture associates blood drinking with some kind of revenant or demon. A revenant is a vengeful spirit. Depending on which culture you are thinking, but a revenant is a vengeful undead. Somebody whose hatred and scorn was so violent when they died that they return from the grave. A classic example of what a modern understanding of a revenant would be, as I understand it, would be the film The Crow. The film The Crow is a perfect example of a revenant. Eric Draven, very much someone who dies in such a state of despair and fury that they are brought back from the dead to enact their revenge. In some cases, a deity. In India, the tales of Vitalas, the ghoulish beings that inhabited corpses, have been compiled with the Baitai Pasishi a prominent story. I'm not going to keep trying to pronounce all of these words, but it tells of a king and his nightly quest to capture an elusive spirit. The return of the spirits, evildoers who died insane, also bear vampiric attributes. The Persians were one of the first civilizations to have tales of blood-drinking demons. Creatures attempting to drink blood from men were depicted on excavated pottery shards. Ancient Babylonia and Assyria had tales of the mythical Lilitu, synonymous with giving rise to Lilith, which is the Hebrew character. Lilith was the first daughter of Adam. So for those people that are not aware of the Adam and Eve story, many people will be aware of the biblical Adam and Eve story, which is God created Adam, and then out of one of Adam's ribs created Eve, and they were the first people around. However, in the Hebrew, in the original first wife, from what I understand, the original Jewish text, God created man and woman. He created Adam and Lilith. Adam turned to God and expressed his dislike of Lilith because of, within the Garden of Eden, because of the fact that Lilith would not do as Adam wanted. Lilith had her own mind. She was made of the earth just as Adam was. And as a result, Lilith was cast from the Garden of Eden, and Eve was created as out of one of Adam's ribs, so that Eve was more subservient to the wills of Adam. Lilith continued to roam the apocalyptic land outside of the Garden of Eden and was known as a demonic creature therein because she was immortal. She was the mother of, the mother of all monsters. That whole dynamic of outside of God's grace, Lilith flourished. She had her daughters Lilu and Lilitu, considered a demon often depicted as subsiding on the blood of babies, and Estraces, a female shape-shifting, blood-drinking demon. They were said to roam the night among the population, seeking victims. According to Sefer Hasidim, Estraces were creatures created in the twilight hour before God rested. An injured estuary could be healed by eating bread and salt given to her by her attacker. There you go. I have a feeling that Adam was the one who ate the apple and blamed Eve. That's why men have an Adam's apple as proof of their crime. No, it can't have been that way, Joey. It can't have been that way, because you've got to remember that throughout history, women have had no rights, and they have always been perceived as the weaker of the genders, multiple genders. They've always been perceived as the weaker, and therefore anything that ever goes wrong is always Eve's fault. Eve's fault. It's always Eve's fault because she's a woman. Just like Lilith's got cast out of the Garden of Eden, not Adam. Adam turned around and went, "Lilith won't do what I tell her to do," and God went, "All right, cool. I'll get rid of Adam. I'll get rid of Lilith. Fuck it. I'll keep you here, Adam. That's fine. That's all right. Enjoy that." You know? See you later, Gruen Dragon. Thank you very much for stopping by. And also, thank you very much for not being outrageous earlier on. I do appreciate it, you cheeky little devil. But thank you very much for coming in and joining us, you glorious being. I appreciate you. But yeah. Skyzark, how you doing? How's it going? Sure you mean the first wife, not daughter. First wife. Did I say first daughter? I meant first wife. Yeah, I definitely meant first wife. Yeah, Adam and Lilith were the original, according to Holy Scripture. Not the biblical Holy Scripture, because the biblical Holy Scripture wanted to get rid of any idea of women having a powerful creature among a powerful, stubborn woman to look up to, so they just got rid of Lilith entirely.
Oh, you followed me. Ooh, you little stalker.
Thank you so much for the follow. I really appreciate it. What happened? Don't you dare, Gruen Dragon, you cheeky devil, you. Don't you dare. All right? Probably because why Lilith is so popular is portrayed as a Lamia. I don't know what that means, Acanthe. What is a Lamia? A husband I got tired of or thought his wife were annoying. He could take her to a mental institution and claim hysteria. Hysteria would common sickness used against women. I mean, yeah, let's not go into that entire realm because we've talked about hysteria and very specifically the treatment of hysteria and the ridiculousness of how they believed or how they got away with, should I say, that whole dynamic. Oh, well, my wife's not doing what I tell her to do, so she must be hysterical. My wife is succumbing to the fluctuations of hormones in her body, therefore she must be hysterical. What? That's outrageous. And some of the things there. Lamia is like a snake-like person. Oh, okay. How's it going, Dark Chocolate? How you doing? Lower body of a snake, but upper body of a human. Medusa is sometimes claimed to be Lamia. Medusa was a Gorgon in the original thing, but Medusa's story is horrible. Absolutely fucking horrible. She was innocent. Entirely innocent. And was cursed. But it's only later depictions of Medusa that has her with the bottom half of a snake. The original thing was that she just became so ugly that she turned people to stone. She became a Gorgon. She was cursed with a face so ugly that it turned people to stone. And the hair of snakes and all that jazz. But yeah, she didn't originally have any other snake attributes until much later depictions of her. Never knew of a Lilith, but only really know the Jesus way. This is the thing. Like, why would you know anything different? This is the thing, though, Lola Frosty. There is in the like most people know when it comes to like theology and stuff like that. Most people know the the King James Bible, which is the classic one that tend to be spread fucking everywhere. It was the most reproduced version of the Bible that tend to get spread everywhere because King James wanted it to be available to all people, so that everyone could read the Word of God. That was the thing. But it had so many like drafts up until that point. I mean, let me have a quick look. King James Bible was originally published in 1611. 1611. 1,611 years after the supposed time of Jesus Christ. There were a lot of variations and a lot of things that were cut out of the original Bible. There is reported to be an entire gospel that Judas wrote. There is reported to be an entire gospel that Mary Magdalene wrote. There are a whole variety of religious texts that have been removed from the Bible itself. The Bible that you are likely to read in this day and age is a heavily edited version of what the original texts, and I say texts plural because they were written by a variety of people after the death of Jesus. Nobody wrote anything during the time of Jesus. They wrote after the death of Jesus.
Oh, you followed
in order
me.
to
Ooh, little stalker.
Thank you very much for the follow, you beautiful being. Welcome on in. They were wrote after the time of Jesus, and then were heavily edited to go along with the construct of the church and the power of the church. And there is well-known corruptions within the church, and we're not going to talk about any of the abuses on the innocent, but let's talk about like the political abuses, like the Borgias, for example. They want something to go their way, they'll just change the fucking the doctrine. You know, it's nice and easy to do. I like the religion with Valen. It's just different perspectives. I'm never going to criticize somebody's faith, but I will criticize organized religion because, like I say, organized religion is a construct made by people in order to control people. a faith is a relationship between an individual and their deity, whatever that deity may be. I'm not going to criticize that. That's between you and whatever deity you believe in. I'm not going to criticize that. You enjoy yourself. Do you have a wonderful time? So long as you're not harming anybody else, I don't give a fuck. But when it comes to, like, constructs of religion, it's yeah, it just gets fucking wild, you know? A classic example of that is Jehovah's Witnesses. Jehovah's Witnesses. They go around talking about the kindness and the way that you should be kind and you should share and you should you should go around talking about the joys of Christianity, representing the core values of Christ himself. Salt Lake City, the head of the head of the Jehovah's Witness church, has the most homeless people in the entirety of America. And having been there, I have seen how the homeless people are all pushed to the outskirts of the city so that they don't have to be seen by the people in the center of the city. I have seen how the tithes that the Jehovah's Witnesses are forced within their religion to pay. They have a tithe of every wage, that everything they ever earn, a certain percentage needs to go directly to the church. They call it their tithe. And it goes to the church and it makes the place. If you want to know what Salt Lake City looks like, friends? Salt Lake City looks like the future in Demolition Man. If you've ever seen Demolition Man, that pristine, clean future where nothing ever goes wrong, that's what Salt Lake City looks like. You know? A lot of Lucifer stories people think are biblical are actually from other texts, Apocrypha, and they're called, yeah. The Vatican was a clever trick by monks. I was kicked out of the Vatican. Yay! I was kicked out of the Vatican many, many moons ago. I went to the Vatican with my family because my family are very, very religious. They're very Christian, Catholic. And we went around the Vatican, and there was a door that was open, and there's an advert on. I'll wait till the end of the advert. I'll wait till the end of the advert before telling this story. Do you know what I mean? Paying to be absolved. Agree with you about faith and religion. Yeah. Basically finding, wink wink, the document that said the church had rights to part of Italy. Yeah, exactly right. It's that kind of wild ass shit. There is no war in Ba Sing Se, right? See how many biblical flood stories appear in other texts like Sumerian and Babylonian. It's nearly word for word. That doesn't surprise me at all. Dark chocolate. That doesn't surprise me at all. There is an awful lot of not only like Christianity and biblical texts, but across all religions, there is an awful lot of recycled content to sway the minds of their followers, and you can see it a lot. Amusingly, one of the best places to see that kind of information is Ancient Aliens. Ancient Aliens. Fucking brilliant. You will see how, well, there's these same stories in all of these different places. And it's like, yeah, because they recycled the same content. They literally were like, this shit is great. Let's use this. Let's use this and push it out there and do all the bit. Let's use this stuff. This is a very, very important thing. I heard this story about this guy from this religion, and that religion sounds fucking like wild. That God sounds wild. Nobody would disobey that God. We should use that shit on our God. We should tell people about the fact that there's fucking they flooded the entire world and only one family escaped. We should tell people that. Nobody would ever fucking dare question a god that would flood an entire world because he could. Do you know what I mean? Nobody would ever do that. You know? Yeah. I was in Salt Lake City a few years ago. Can confirm, hadn't really thought about it that way, but you're absolutely right. That's exactly how it is. I felt so uncomfortable. So uncomfortable in Salt Lake City. Do they have the 3 shellfish everywhere? Yes. Quick question, Pizza Hut or Taco Bell? I've seen both. I prefer Pizza Hut out of the two. I would wear a t-shirt saying I was kicked out of the Vatican. Is it Zabiji? Or is it Zabiji? Please let me know how to pronounce your name. But welcome on in, you beautiful bee. Welcome on in. Many of the biggest religions stems from the shared religion. Yeah, there's like some of the ancient religions. I mean, fucking look at the way that Rome adapted religions. Rome found the Greek religions, renamed all their gods, decided that that was their religion now. Then found Christianity and went, shit, this is cool. Let's do this instead. You know? Whole story of Mithras' general plot being basically the same as the Bible. God's son being killed, rising again after a few days, rising to heaven. Yeah. Which is one of the big arguments as to whether there was even a Jesus in the first place, you know? Ancient astronaut theories, they take... Oh, yeah. The ancient astronauts, the ancient aliens, that whole dynamic, you will see so many reasons why there was so much copying of religions. Because people traveled a lot. People think that, like, nobody traveled ever. And it's like, no, they did. Because there was no fucking boundaries. There was no big walls stopping anything. Do you know what I mean? People were hunted away. Like, oh my God, this place is trying to kill me. I'm going to go to a different place. But I'm going to keep my faith. Because I'm a faithful individual. And we are in historical times where the only thing that makes sense is religion. So I'm going to keep my faith. I'm going to go to this different place. Oh, I'm going to tell these people about my faith because I think there's a great place to think. Oh, look, they started believing me. Oh, cool. That spreads out. Oh, look, my friend, Jeremiah the Third, has fled his village and has gone on to the next neighboring place. You know? The entirety of the human race started in Africa. We are now fucking everywhere. The concept that humans didn't travel around is outrageous. Do you know what I mean? Also, Rome, that God seems cool. We'll have them. That God seems cool. We'll have them too. These Christians are gaining a lot of power. How about that? Yeah. Basically, yeah. Do you know what I mean? God left the bath running. Anyway, I was going to tell you about how I got kicked out of the Vatican City. Yay. I went to the Vatican with my family. Jeremiah the Third, you know. I went to the Vatican with my family. My parents are Catholic. My entire family is religious, apart from me. I am not religious. I have no faith. Once upon a time, I did have a faith. I do not have that faith anymore. I went to Rome on a family holiday with my family, and I was very disappointed in Rome. Because I'm not going to lie to you. When you are raised Catholic, you see a lot of Catholicism. You see a lot of it. Travel around, see a lot of churches. See a lot of the same Catholic masses. The same Catholic hymns. The same Catholic rhetoric. Fucking everywhere. You see a lot of it. And I was really excited to go to Rome because I wanted to see more of the ancient side of it. I wanted to see ancient Rome. I was really excited to go to the Colosseum, to the Pantheon, to all of like the ancient structures. Do you know what I mean? All those ancient structures that I was expecting to have like historical statues and odes to the old gods as a mark of respect for history, being like, this was what this was used for. This was originally the temple of the ancient Roman gods. This is how these things... No, all Christianity. Walk into any ancient Roman temple, has all been converted into Catholicism. You go in, you see all the giant pillars, you see where the statues should be, and now there's just usually Mary. Usually it's not even Jesus. There might be like one statue of Jesus and then shitloads of statues of the Virgin Mary. All right? who we've discussed many times before. Virginity is a human sociological construct, but that's an entirely different thing. If you want to know about that, you can check out my YouTube channel. I have an entire fucking seminar dedicated to why virginity doesn't exist, but that's not the point. We went to the Vatican City and went to Rome. What I will say is, around the Vatican itself, there's just fucking churches everywhere. So you got the Vatican itself, which is its own country, all right? The streets off the Vatican, you will have church, tourist store, church, tourist store, church. Like, honestly, it's every other shop. It's like church, tourist shop, church, tourist shop. Everywhere around there. You might get the occasional little restaurant. Do you know what I mean? I really enjoyed the Colosseum because the Colosseum doesn't have fucking Christianity plastered all over it. But the rest of it, I was fucking sick of it. I got really fucking off with it. I was sick of Catholicism in pervading fucking everywhere. I like architecture. I like various different like dynamics. I like experiencing different religions and people's different faiths and learning about them in bits and pieces. Now, I have learned more about Catholicism than fucking anything else because I was raised Catholic. But I just got sick of it. I was pissed off about it. Then the Pope was doing some fucking holy things, and I weren't attacked. Then you were attacked by vampires. How did you know? Shit. You spoiled the surprise, Nibiran. Then the Pope was doing some kind of service on. I think we were there on a Sunday. Oh yeah, some of the stuff, All Witness. Some of the stuff is fucking beautiful, absolutely fucking beautiful, exquisite to an nth degree. But there's just so much of it that you become very jaded to it very quickly. If you are not heavily religious and really into
pander to my ego, pander to it, pander to it.
In most fiction works, vampires are Christian, in the sense that the no God exists, and that's why crosses repel them. The thing is that they are damned in the eyes of God, so they won't be able to get to heaven.
Well, they don't have souls. They don't have souls, so they can't go to heaven. That's the whole dynamic, is that they feed off the souls of other creatures, so they can't go to heaven. Again, they are repelled by the sight of the cross because of the fact they have no soul. How dare you remind me? And it is that reminding thing, is you remind me of the soul that I used to have, and I am repelled by that, which is fascinating. But yeah, so we were there for, thank you very much for the 100 little panderings, by the way. I really appreciate it. We were there. There was a service being given by the Pope, and we were all sat down and what have you, and I stood up to get a better look at the Pope. This was, I can't remember which Pope it was. It wasn't this Pope. It might have been the last Pope. Might have been the Pope before that. Can't remember. They have a heavy turnover. Stood up to look for the Pope. Where is the Pope-mobile? Saw a glint on the top of the Vatican City. I saluted the Pope. I stood up and looked. Gazed like this. Saw a glint at the top of the building. Was like, oh my God. What could that glint be that has caught my eye? Snipers. I'm going to sit back down again. I'm going to sit back down again because I'm good. I'm good not being shot by holy snipers. Anyway, Pope did their service. They opened up the tours again, all the bits and pieces. Was walking around the Vatican. Very pretty, have to say. Very pretty building, very pretty church. They have a heavy turnover. Just gaggle like a fucking bark. Look, it's true. They do. This is what happens when you employ old people to be the head of your thingy. They just got a very high turnover. In fact, to be honest with you, they should probably do it with politicians. It means that we might get more new age fucking thought processes happening sooner than later. They're saying that the Vatican is not a very good example of that, so maybe we should stay away from that. Anyway, by and by the point, okay? By and by the point, wandering around the Vatican, following the tour guide, wasn't paying attention because by this point I'd already seen a fucking dozen churches, and I didn't really care. It was beautiful. Like, the artwork was beautiful, the architecture was beautiful, very rich for a religion that's meant to help the poor. But anyway, there was an open door, and I looked through the door and went, ooh, look, a whole load of glass cabinets and books. I walked through the door. There was no one else in the house, in the room, just me, wandering around. Fuck knows where my family were. Didn't give a shit. Was wandering around, having a look at all of these things in glass cabinets and stuff. Cue the Pink Panther movie. I mean, I'm not going to say it was that way, but I am going to say I wasn't meant to be there. Turns out on the actual door itself that I missed as I walked through the open doorway. Because the door had opened it. You know when it opens out and it goes back a little bit? Because there's so much space behind the door. So there was a big fucking sign on the door that said no entry. Big fucking sign on the door that said no entry. I didn't see that because the door was far too far open. So I was prowling around, just looking at all this stuff, looking at all these interesting implements and bits and pieces and books, open books that were just laid there. And I was like, oh, this is very, very interesting, flicking through a couple of bits and pieces. Then I met Lestat. And I was there for about 15 minutes. I was there for about 15 minutes. And then suddenly two of the Swiss Guard appeared. Two of the Swiss Guard appeared from the door that I came in. And then another one appeared from the other door that was like on the other side of the room. And they were shouting very loud at me. And I had no idea what they were saying. No touchy. Look, it was out. All of the other stuff was in the glass cabinets. You don't want something to be touched? Put it in a glass cabinet. You want something to be not touched? Put it in a glass cabinet. What was in it? I don't know. It was all written in Latin and shit. I don't know. I didn't really make too much of a sense to me. But they literally appeared and I was like, hello? And they were like shouting in what I can only assume is Italian. That I don't know. I'm assuming that they were saying that I wasn't meant to be there. That how dare I be in this area? Who am I? What am I trying to? I don't know. I don't speak Italian. And I was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're saying. How old was I? Good question. 18? 19, maybe? Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'd gone away to university at this point. Might have been earlier than that. But, like, youngest 16, oldest 18, maybe. And then I was escorted out. I was escorted out by these three guys who escorted me all the way to the perimeter of the Vatican City, where we met another guy who spoke English, and they said that I am not allowed in the Vatican City again. And I was like, okay, no worries. Thank you. Walk around the perimeter of the Vatican City trying to find my family. Go back to the place where I knew that we were, because my family do that thing where they were like, if anyone gets lost, we'll meet you here. And I was like, cool. So I went to that place where we were going to meet. And that was it. What was in it? Any status? I don't know. Like I said, it was just like books and like iron implements, like not like torture devices, but more like holy. What can I can only assume are like relics from shit. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But it was like all the books were all in Latin and stuff like that. I'm assuming it was some kind of like secret room or something like that. But either way, I was just like, okay. Yeah, deported by 100 meters. Yeah, effectively, yeah. That's effectively what happened, yeah. I was like, okay. Thanks, I think. Cool. Cheers, chum. I'll not do that again. Sure. All right. Fair enough. It was weird. It was a weird time. It was a peculiar scenario. And yeah, that was me being kicked out of the Vatican. I don't know whether I'm allowed back in. I assume that it's only a level of like there would be a time limit on that. I don't think it would have been a permanent banning. I assume, but I don't know. How's it going, Talamir? How you doing? I assume, but I don't know. You know? Lucky you picked a meeting place outside the Vatican. Oh, we didn't pick a meeting place outside the Vatican. We didn't pick a meeting place outside the Vatican. They picked a meeting place inside the Vatican, but fortunately they saw me stood as close as I possibly could be to the area. I literally was stood there just being like, hey, where did you go? Where did you go? And I was like, somebody told me I wasn't allowed back in the Vatican. What did you do? I went in a room that apparently I wasn't meant to be in, but I didn't know I wasn't meant to be in it. Oh, for fuck's sake, Valen. Did you have a mobile phone at the time? Yes, but what I didn't have was roaming data. Make it mutual. Ban the Pope from Ken. That's it. That is it. The Pope is not allowed in Ken, bastard. He's been desperate to come as well. But yeah, no, I had no roaming data. So like I had a phone, but I had no way to contact anybody because it was back in those days. Do you know what I mean? If they didn't take your photo, then you should be able to sneak back in. Yeah, they didn't take my photo or anything. It was in part of their fault for having it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was like, well, what do you fucking expect? All right. What do you expect from me? To like you leave the door open and expect me to just be like not go and be inquisitive about it? What the fuck? Do you know what I mean? Someone needs to wear something religious to Ken. Oh, that happens. That happens all the time. I'm pretty sure that Abby Stabby came as a nun at one stage. We love a good bit of religious iconography, you know? Yeah, now. Anyway, friends. On that wonderful bombshell, I am going to leave it there, you beautiful beans. All right? I'm going to leave it there. However, thank you very much for helping me come in deep diving and what have you. What I'll do is I'll try and do like a summary of what we learn and stuff. I am hugely intrigued by it, so I might look deeper into it and make some kind of video on it or something and upload it to Twitch because I can't upload it to YouTube because there's nowhere for it to go. Excuse me. But that was fun. I really enjoyed it. And we will be doing another one next week. Mythical Mondays. The next one, October the 9th, we're going to be looking into the origins of witches. We're going to be looking into the origins of witches. So October the 9th, Mythical Monday, we're going to be looking into the origins of witches, which is always a fun one. We'll obviously be looking into the witch hunts and what have you. And we will talk about what we very briefly touched on earlier, which was the last witch trial, which was actually during the war. I think it was during World War II. It was either just after World War I or just after World War II, which was the last ever official witch trial. So... yeah, we're going to do that. All right. But friends, we're going to go raid somebody. We're going to go throw some love out to another delightful individual. I think I know exactly who we're going to go raid. But before we go raid somebody, could you do me a massive, massive favor and throw out some mod loves in the channel? You can use any kind of mod loves from any kind of channel. You can use any kind of love hearts from any kind of channel. Say a massive thank you to those wonderful mods. Moderators, thank you so much for all that you do. Thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for all of the fucking love and all the stuff that you do inside and out of the stream. Thanks so much for stepping up earlier when those very lackluster trolls came about. I really appreciate it. Friends, I really appreciate you being here. We are going to go and raid a good friend of ours. But first, Friends, if you're a subscriber, please copy and paste the first raid message. If you are not a subscriber, please copy and paste the second raid message. That's the first bot of vanity raid message for subscribers. The second bot of vanity raid message for non-subscribers. We are going to go raid a good friend of ours, because they're glorious and amazing, and I appreciate them very, very much. And we're going to go raid my dear friend Selena. I'm going to go raid Selena, because Selena's doing some just chatting stuff, and it's very rare that she does just chatting stuff. And it's the first stream of October's, and she's wonderful and glorious and well worth all of your love and attention. Friends, if you can stick around for the raid, even if it's only like 5-10 minutes, I would really, 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 really appreciate it. Yeah, that's the one. That is perfectly fine. You can definitely go over that one. I'd really appreciate it, even if it's on like 5-10 minutes, because Selena's a wonderful being. It'd be really nice to go throw them some love. Friends, if you're not in the raid up here, please, 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 please click on the link that I have just thrown out here to go throw them some love. Selena is the head of my Twitch team and is a beautiful individual, glorious human being who we love very, very dearly. Is super supportive of me and massively helps me in so much of what I do and what I create for all of you. So I'd like to go back and throw some of that love back at them, you know? Friends, I'll be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. BST, 1 p.m. British time, where we will be hopefully finishing the Hollow Knight. We'll hopefully be finishing Hollow Knight, you know? So I'll be back then. Please come back and join me. I would really appreciate it. Friends, until then, you beautiful beings. Oh, thanks so much for being here. Thanks so much for the raids, the subs, the gift subs, all the cheeky little bits. Thanks so much for the hype train earlier on. Thanks so much for spending your time here. Thanks so much for getting like deep diving education. And until tomorrow, don't do anything I wouldn't do, because if I wouldn't do it, I'll fucking kill you. I'll see you later. Bye 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 bye.
And so they actually like practice Mars missions? Oh, Valen! Oh my gosh, thank you so much.